All right, spring map. Spring 1951, clean map.
Yeah. So looking at the moves, I'm thinking back. So this was around the time when, again, we're starting. This is still in my we actually get a Mughal sub here, and the Mughal player had kind of tried to turn things around and tried to get himself back in the three man with me Japan, and try to work something out there. But by this point, it's really too late. But I mean, like again, at a certain point in diplomacy, when someone's going down, and you can really actually kill them off in like decently quickly, it seems. You can just kind of lie and screw them over as much as you want, because it's not going to bite you in the ass as much. Uh, so that's what we do here. We lie a lot, and we're kind of hoping that I can sneak into Rinpungpa, but I mean, we're not exactly surprised that we can't. There's a lot of like Canadian is like promising me dots down the line. He's always promising me that I'll be the one supported into the dot next year. Next year it'll happen. I know in my heart that there's no next year that it's gonna happen. That it's I'm gonna be supporting him all the way down to a goddamn Pegu, if the game goes that long. But I smile and say yeah, and see if I can like I guess pull on his heartstrings enough that eventually he changes his mind. Um, Tactics wise, I mean, we don't manage to land the convoy, unfortunately. Um, but this is terrible for IU because and terrible for Mughals, honestly, that they're getting into IU. Like it saves them from disbanding,
Oh, we're looking at
but
the clean map here.
Yes, we
that's
can't see the boat. Your
oh,
your stream's minimized. We can't see it.
Oh, sorry about that.
no, yeah. So yeah, so we're kind of gonna go after Mughals here. We're gonna try and make him think that we're gonna try and make him go into IU and think that like we're gonna work together, and then we're just gonna take as much as we possibly can, and try to make progress on all fronts. And yeah, for me, that's pretty much where this game is, and you'll hear me coming back to the same thing. All I'm really focused on is again, we crossed the hill past any point I could even conceivably contest Canadian. If there's going to be another point where I can contest Canadian, it's going to be like 5 years down the line when he's forgotten that I'm allowed to enter my own orders instead of entering his. Um, but before then, I just need to do what I need to do in the South, try to win the war.
Yeah, that fits pretty much what was going on with me here too. I was trying to get support. Like I eventually I should say like I look at this game very long, and even though I'm sitting in first and I feel like the game is going to end soon, I like to always like figure out what I'm going to do with my units after I finish what I'm currently doing. So, like that's the whole reason I didn't want to attack Ming is because like once I get to this point with my fleet, there's nothing else you can do, and it becomes a dead like a inactive unit for a long time. So like here, after I'm gonna kill the colonials, Portugal and Ageron have been working together very close the whole time, and like we all whoops, us three. Us three up here, Ute, Athapaska, and me also have a triple. And we're thinking that like eventually after we take this area, we're gonna come into conflict with Ageron and Portugal, and it's not just gonna be in Oceania. They're also trying to push up here, and Portugal is trying to push up this way. So I'm feeling like even if we win eventually here, and Ming is in this fight too, because you're eventually gonna help me fight in this area. That we're gonna have to like push on and fight Portugal and Ageron on the coasts here and stuff, and through like Sumatra and Batavia, Australia. We were thinking of coming up through Atlantic Ocean and putting pressure on them like this way and in Indian Ocean and stuff. So I was thinking for like 5 years, 10 years down the line, if this game somehow doesn't end, like I still want to be in a position. Oh,
Yeah, it is.
this is the right map. I still want to be in position to like keep growing and keep doing well, even if it goes long past how long I think it's gonna go. So I'm trying to get into these areas and down here, and I'm also trying to punch into Yarkand and get over through this area before any of these areas can be like patched up and stuff. or before Portugal can get a foothold there. Yeah. Also, because I've been keeping Ming alive this whole time, like I do want to be the one to get dots and stuff. I don't want to help him grow too much when I'm already like not taking the dots I feel like I could take. So I always wanted to be the one who's like getting the dots I wanted. But I did remember I wanted you in Kunming because then you can help. I think I wanted you Kunming and then Balmo or something like that, so you could help me get all this area and then help me support. It was such a stupid long plan, but that was kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Well, I think that long-term thinking is really important too, because there have been so many times where I've seen players be really confident that the game is going to end on a particular turn and make all of their moves in line with that. And then when the game didn't end that turn, just be completely out of position and in really awful spots.
Yeah, and that's where I never want to end up, right? I always want to have an idea of what I'm doing.
Yeah, like even if you're going for like a solo or something, like any unit that's like not part of that specific, explicit plan is part of like the backup plan, right? For if the game continues going on.
100%, yeah. Elsewhere, I guess we can wait until it moves, but that's kind of like what I was generally thinking here. Tasnica.
All right, so Poland at the start of 1651. So where we left off, I went +6 last year. I made my play to try to become a contender in this game, and it was a good year. But there are some major glaring issues. One was that Safavid stabbed me, and afterward, Safavid had a really bad year themselves because they got stabbed in several locations and basically came to me fully apologetic, saying, hey, I scuttled our chances for us to win this game together. You can still win, I can't, so I'm going to try to help you win this game. Whatever I can do, that's what I'm doing. And from my analysis of the board, especially the Europe position, I kind of agreed with them that that's the only way I can realistically win if Safavid just goes all out and helping me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to put all my eggs in that basket. Gamble it all. Either he means it and I have a chance, or he doesn't, in which case I'm screwed in Europe either way. Part of that being screwed in Europe is my relationship with Sweden, who is currently gunboat death warring me. Like his literal last message to me was saying that he's muting our press channel. So that's not getting better anytime soon. And Austria is taking full advantage of that. By, despite the fact that Sweden has stabbed him multiple times, he knows that Sweden's always going to be aggro toward me in some fashion or another. So it can kind of stab me whenever he feels like, and at least partially get away with it. So that's Europe. In my colonies, a big part of my +6 was from stabbing my ally in England. Although, notably, I stabbed him only in the Caribbean. I very deliberately stabbed him in a way that did not benefit Portugal at all. And afterward, I even told England this, that, hey, Portugal is going to destroy both of us, especially in Africa, if we fight there. So I would like to keep our conflict limited to the Caribbean. Fight me back all you'd like. Totally fair, understandable. Let's please work together still in Africa, because he absolutely will kill us. And England claims to agree with this. So we'll see if I'm able to kind of have a limited conflict with England in the Caribbean, but still be able to hold out in Africa. My other neighbors in the colonies, there's Spain, who's also death warring me. We've basically been fighting the entire game at this point. There's no press between us. And then there is Aymara, who is a vassal of Ute, has been telling me that Ute's been encouraging him to stab me, but that he doesn't want to, and that he thinks that if we fight, Ute and Portugal will just kill both of us, which I agree with. I think that if we fight Ud and Portugal, will kill both of us. So that's my thought process going into spring moves.
Spring moves.
Yeah. So some nice little stuff for me. Again, we managed to pop Zenang here, which is pretty sick. The Mughals do end up in Kunming and Ava, and even though like they can tell that in the long term they're just killing an ally, removing fleets, and it probably they collectively could probably put up a longer fight if he tried to get out and do some shenanigans here. Um, he personally will live longer if he goes down and stays there and tries to retreat into this area. So that's what he's going to do. There's no pulling back from the stab, really. So we're very happy to see it. I get into Hokkien finally, and start getting ready for the long march. Long march to Kunming, which hopefully we'll be able to get by the end of the game. And otherwise, like things are going very well on the front down there. I mean, I'm sure Toku will talk. I'm sure Canadian will talk about it, but yeah, it's all looking pretty sweet.
One big thing you do have in your favor here as Ming is that you've got a lot of cores, both in the centers you currently own and also in the areas you're expanding toward. So you could be really useful for getting more armies on the front line quickly, which I imagine will hopefully encourage Toku to maybe let you get a build at some point.
Yeah, like that Kunming dot is very nice. Like it allows me, like if that game is going on 5 more years, then like being able to pump armies in here so much faster. I mean, sure, he could definitely core, but I mean, if we're being reasonable given the war going on here, getting a mainland core is going to take probably 3 years from this point, or at least 3 years until you can actually start putting it out. And then Kunming is still better because it's faster.
Oh, it's so in the thick of things. Like it borders like what, 5 other centers?
Yeah. And it can get into India in 1 year through Bamo to Sasaram or Bhutan or Morocco. It's just really useful. And yeah, it keeps me useful.
Yeah, agreed fully. Yeah, I'll start, I guess. Yeah, we'll start up here. So yeah, did what Meepstir said. We're like pushing into Mughals. I asked him to go in these areas. I think he was gonna go in anyway, just because 3 dots. Obviously, him getting these dots, gets less IU units here. And right now, he's got like way more units than like I'm only gunning for 2 more dots here, and he's got 6, 7, like 8 units to defend and attack me back with. So I'm very happy to see, or 7 units to attack me back with. So I'm happy to see him like lose a few here. Russia still being my vassal, we're pushing him along into Karakorum here. I have the opportunity to take Krasnoyarsk here, and I'll talk about the deal I have with Athapaska and Ute. Oh wait, I guess it does happen this. I should talk about it now. Give me a second. So, you go into Ute and Athapaska get very scared around, I can't remember, around winter or something like that. I thought it was in between moves here, but they both got very scared that I'm gonna like go for a solo or something here. And they wanted me to not ever go 15% VSCC above one of them. So that would be about like 4 centers above Athapaska and like 5-ish above Ute. Or not above Ute, because he has to get 4 more than me. But it was I could only be like on parity with Ute, and I could be like 4 above Athapaska or 5 above Athapaska, something like that. And we had a deal where Athapaska was going to get Krasnoyarsk here in exchange for that like early convoy and helping me out against Russia. But they were also worried that like I have this opportunity to snag Cotabato and Zamboanga from Ute, and I think they were worried about Yakutsk too, but I don't think I ever was gunning for Yakutsk. Even in like a scenario where I was going to stab them, I would never stab for like Yakutsk or Chukchis or anything. It would just be Zambo and Cotabato. But they were worried about that, so they wanted to do some swaps. And Athapaska was like, I'll let you. It doesn't really make sense for me to go to Krasnoyarsk and then back up to Yenisei and go into Ob if we're attacking Safavid. So he'll just give me the claim on Krasnoyarsk, and I will give him Carricks in return. And then to make this a little less threatening, I will get Zamboanga from Ute, and we will give him Koryaks instead. So those are like easy centers that they can get, not threatening to me. I asked Athapaska to take Carricks with a fleet, so the fleet would be stuck on the west coast here, and I asked Ute to take Koryaks with an army, so so there can't be a fleet going this way, and then we can convoy the army immediately out into South America the next turn. So they wouldn't allow them to turn that into an attack on me. I do hold off because this is spring still. Yeah. I do decide that I'm not going to take Krasnoyarsk and I'm going to leave Russia alone alive because I don't want to go too far above the line and get them spooked at me. So I keep Krasnoyarsk alive, but the deal between me and Atha is that that is essentially my dot whenever I want, and we get Russia to get out of the dot. So it's sitting there for me.
So it's basically like a pocket vassal for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly that.
And this is a 35% game, right?
Yeah, so 35%. So I would still need to get, even if I'm at like my max cap there, I would still need to get like 7 more dots than that. And they were worried that I was going to stab Ming too. They were saying like, obviously Hanyang is super easy for me to get anytime I want. Like I can convoy an army there and go to Hanyang. They were worried I can go to Peking with a move to Yellow Sea and stuff. But what I explained to them was like that move is always so telegraphed. And if you ever do see me like, if you do see me convoy an army to Pyongyang at this point, or you see me set up an attack on Peking, then like I'm going for the solo. Like that would just be the red flag that I am going for it, and I'm just not gonna do that. And yeah, go on.
No, yeah, I'm just like, I guess I don't know if this is the perfect time to say it, but like I'll definitely speak to it. I was definitely dissuaded, and this will factor in later about your ideas of maybe going for a solo when I started seeing you giving up a lot of dots to like Oud and Atha. Because I just was like, he's not going for Hanyang. He's being very generous to his North American friends. I mean, he probably needs to be, but he's like not trying to weasel out of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the kind of like image I wanted to give off, right? Like I'm not trying to go for a solo here. And I actually something interesting I do, I go through all the voids in my previous 4 games that I've played of Impdip, and I find statements from myself that show something like I don't care about a solo, I only care about a win, and I only care about a record. I have like I send screenshots of me talking to like other specs in my sub where they're asking me if I'm gonna go try for a solo, and I say like no, I don't care about that and stuff. So I sent all that to Uten and Atha, and I was like, this is how my mindset is. I don't care about going for a solo. Like I don't value it too much more than just winning. Like my main goal is to win. And I also go on.
No.
I also operate under like a mindset where I can't remember where I heard it, but it was something like always do that if you have like an option where one thing is like a minor gain and the other, and even if it's a small chance, it's like a devastating loss. Like never take the chance on like risking your entire game for something. So I was like, I'm in a position where I'm pretty much guaranteed to win, and if I go for a solo and like try to stab everyone, that's the only way I can lose this game. And even if it's like a 5% chance, I don't want to risk losing the game. So it's just easier for me to win with you guys. Like I'm giving them convoys here. I'm using multiple of my units to help them out into convoys. I can't remember what else, but I'm just trying to be very good to them and show them like I am trying to win with both of you. I'm not trying to go for a solo here. Like that's just not how I play.
Yeah, your situation is kind of like the opposite of mine at the moment, where yours is like, you're almost certain to win, but you could gamble hard on a solo.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm almost certain to lose, but I could gamble hard on trying to squeak my way in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in your situation, I would gamble because, like, I can't remember if we talked about it earlier, but it's like some people think it doesn't matter if you're the first to lose or like the fucking first person out. It's you either win or you lose, and it's like that's kind of how I see it. So if I was in your position, I'd 100% try for like the gamble to win instead of just trying to like keep what I got. um, but yeah, we get more convoys up here. I think that does not go through. Oh no, it does go through.
Well, so the move that succeeds is Safavid moves Yamalia to Verk,
Yeah,
supported by Sweden.
and then that gets dislodged. That's right.
Yep.
So Athapaska gets a retreat into Imuli here, and then that gives him a shot into the back lines here that he'll negotiate with. And I remember he was trying to talk Safavid into giving him a dot on the Caspian Sea because he was saying that was like a special thing to him to get Athapaska a dot on the Caspian Sea. And I guess Aqua agreed, but they always had a problem of getting him there somehow. But yeah, down here, and I'll talk about IU, I guess. I think I mentioned it before, but the original plan was for this to go this way. I knew this would get bounced out, but I just gave it a shot anyway because the other option would have just been to support the fleet in. I didn't have any other convoy options for that. Forcing in just to get more units active against IU here. Getting the full walk-in on Dutch because he does not move out of it, or doesn't try to bounce me out of anything, which I was kind of surprised about. Dutch does this a few times this game, and I feel like it's almost a reaction of the time when he just walked out of Ryukyu like very early on. Even though like I normally don't ever just try to like walk into people's dots and outguess them like that unless I have the info that I'm gonna. But yeah, I end up getting like a couple moves on him this time or this game where I can just move straight into him. That was very nice. Gives me a lot of tempo to push right into Java C immediately after. I got Flores here because Mapuche disbanded everything. We agreed to give Azeron Australia because he is helping us with Dutch, and we are also telling him we're going to win with him at this point because Portugal doesn't want to win without him, and we can't cut Portugal. So we're just trying to be friendly with him for now. Yeah, like I said, we're giving Ute more dots into South America because he also needs them, and now that I have this cap on me, I need Ute to go up the same amount of dots as I do. So if I'm getting a bunch here, I need him to get a bunch here, or else they're going to get upset and they're going to attack me. So and Athapaska, he's yeah, finally cleaning up Inuit here, getting some French dots and stuff down here, so he's climbing up. He only needs 7 more. Getting dislodged here, which is a pain, but yeah. That's about it for me. Tasnica?
All right, so Polish Europe. The gamble fails. I'm dead. All of Europe is completely dead. Like, I don't lose it immediately, but just the situation's hopeless. Safavid full stabs me. Sweden's full attacking me. Austria's full attacking me. There's no recovering this position. I lose Constantinople. I lose Ochakiv. I lose Targoviste. 2 armies get blown up. I lose Gdansk. I get Krakow, but it's not necessarily holdable for long. Safavid decided that they were going to keep stabbing, and I needed them to not. So my goal in Europe is just to sow as much chaos between my 3 neighbors as possible. Do whatever I can to prevent any of them from winning the game. Because that's basically all I have left. Europe is gone. My strategy failed.
Yeah, I remember I didn't like seeing this at all either because I think I said it last time too. This is just bumps up Sweden, it bumps up Austria, and it bumps up Safavid, who are all 3 people that we do not want to get high because they're gonna block the 4 of us from.
Which is, of course, exactly why they all agreed to go in
Yep.
on you.
Yes, though it does create a very awkward situation for all of them, because while they can all certainly get into blocking range by killing me together, in order to actually win, they have to kill each other.
Mhm.
And my ability to help any of them kill each other has just greatly diminished. Well, my ability and my desire to help any of them kill each other has greatly diminished. So I kind of want them all to be like perfectly balanced, so that none of them can actually win. They just stall the game slightly, but then other players win elsewhere because they get stuck in the, the mid-20s or whatever.
Mhm.
And I made this a point, especially to Sofavid, that, I do not think stabbing Poland here is a winning strategy for Sofavid, simply because they only ever get a dot or two at best, and then have to fight Austria and Sweden even more without any support in the West. But we'll see. Maybe Safavid pulls off a win here. Maybe one of the others do. But I am determined to try to make that not happen if I can. As for secondary goals, let's take a look at my colonies. We've got West Africa, and England has decided to side with Portugal. I am absolutely convinced that this will lead to England's extremely swift demise in West Africa, paired with my own, of course. But yeah, I lose Timbuktu, I lose Dijon, I'm going to lose Ouaga. I get Agadez, but Portugal has 2 units on that, so that's probably gone too. It's not great, and I basically have no choice at this point but to go to Portugal and try to cut whatever deal I can with them, because without an understanding with England, West Africa is completely dead. Stream's paused again, by the way.
Oh.
In the Caribbean, England's fighting me, which was expected. What wasn't expected was for him to work with Portugal, who, again, I think will absolutely kill the heck out of him. So he gets into Leeward, he gets into Antilles. Portugal gets into Caribe. Spain walks into Palermo, which was expected. What it wasn't expected was for Aymara to support Portugal in. So Aymara stabs me here, which, same deal with England. I am pretty sure that this gets both me and Aymara killed. But Aymara seems really convinced that the game's about to end, and that he is perfectly safe just taking all my stuff. So we will see whether that was an accurate assessment, or if it backfires on him. It certainly backfires on me, because Cartagena is gone. I can't do anything about it. Palermo is gone. I only have 1 unit on it. And English fleets are encroaching. While Oot fleets are also encroaching, because England throwing everything at me means that he's pretty defenseless against Oot. So he loses Bahamas. He's almost certainly going to lose Bermuda soon. Basically, he's got lots of open dots, and given his relationship with Oot so far this game, I do not expect this to go well for his dot count.
Yep. Yeah. Meepstir.
Okay, so we have at least one black arrow on the map, and that is Hokkien getting into Huguang. It's very nice because now, you'll notice that Canadian has agreed to support me into Rinpungpa, the one turn where it's not going to work. We'll see what his reasoning is next year, for why it needs to be him in Rinpungpa. But as of right now, I'm making some progress, and I wasn't expecting to get into Ring Pungpa here. Like, obviously, these are pretty simple tactics to block anything. There was no way for us to get into either of these dots, and unshockingly, we don't get into any of the dots. But we make progress regardless. And we're in a good spot now. To start making good real progress. And honestly, I'm kind of like I do want to like the game could end soon, but I don't necessarily want this war to end like as quickly as possible. Again, if we make huge gains, if we like just really surprisingly like if we manage to make it to Ava and Bamo and Ring Pungpa and even Pegu and Chiang Mai and we manage to scoop up everything within the next 2 years, I'm a lot less useful to Canadian. And he might still want to use me and like I've gotten all those cores and stuff. But the war going a little longer isn't like the worst thing in the world for me. It keeps me alive. It keeps me in a role, and I do at this point I did sort of care about rankings. I'll admit, like I'd given up winning a long time ago. And so like the longer that the game goes on, the longer that I'm still in play, the more other powers who don't have a vassal agreement like this drop off the board and make room for me to climb the rankings a little bit. So I'm pretty content with how things are going overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember talking to you about that where I was saying like even if you stayed at 4, I think like multiple of these powers above you are just gonna like continue to go down while you're gonna at least stay at 4 and like maybe go up. Or I think I was telling you you're going to 5, but
Yeah, you were to I think you had promised me Bamo, Ava, Chiang Mai, and Kunming as my dots, which I knew wasn't true.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I wanted armies to eventually come up this way for sure. But I
yeah,
think these
I was
ones I
aware.
was totally cool with for sure.
Mhm.
Um yeah, is that it?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, same thing. I got put into this dot here. We're just getting it held. Like I said, I didn't go for Russia here. This was like very hard. I don't know, not very hard, but I remember like being very conflicted and very much wanting to just like kill Russia off here and take Krasnoyarsk and Turfan because I knew like there's no real use for him anymore at this point. Like if I take him out and just replace the dot here, then I'm the one who gets pushed into Yarkand when I do go for it. If I leave him here, he's just the one who gets pushed into it. But my reasoning ended up being that like I do not need extra. Like I'm already going up. 1, 2. That's a trade. I give one away. Another one here. I can't remember. I'm going up enough where I was like, and I'm already in first, and I remember counting up the dots of everyone else and knowing what they were kind of going to be at, and I was like, I really don't need to take these 2 dots here, even if it's like the more optimal tactical move. I feel like it's just worse strategically because it just puts a bigger target on my back for no reason when I feel like I can just take these dots the next year anyway. So I bite my tongue, or not bite my tongue, but I hold back my bloodlust and just chill and keep my agreement with Russia that I'll keep them alive and keep them on too. And I keep my agreement with Atha and Ute that I won't like go crazy with growth. So that is there. Here I'm still just backfilling to get more units into the theater because, like I said, long term I wanna push all the way to like Black Sea and stuff, right? But we gotta slowly walk there. So everything gets in position there. Um, yeah, I put one fleet back because I am always a little scared of convoys into Chukchis and stuff like that. And I remember they are taking some stuff, so I was like, I am gonna keep a fleet to hang around here. I won't keep myself completely exposed. We'll bounce that around. We keep our fleet here to convoy more, but it's also a nice little deterrence. Even though I don't think they are going to attack me, I do want to keep up a little defense and a little guard, so they're like not super enticed to go for it. Keep the deal with you. Like I can go for the empty spots, but we have the deal to not put more than 2 in the ocean. So I do backfills, keep getting more units into Halmahera, so I can keep putting pressure on this area. Get more units into here. Push into Coral Sea. The idea here is to support. No, wait, this is fall, right? Yeah. The idea is the next year. I think I was supposed to get in here in spring, but I got bounced out by Dutch or something. So now I'm getting supported in here, and I'm gonna support Azeron into these dots, and then we're gonna split up this area. For over here, again, I convoy Ute into Koryax. So I give him my own dot there for fun while he convoys down into Koaskar to get more pressure on like Topakal and Tehochli. He also convoys into Ruka, so he's getting a lot of pressure on the South American area. They get another convoy off into Asia, and he gets his units moved more into place to hit Safavid. Still very hard to crack Safavid from this angle, but I am telling him, like, I'm gonna crack through this. Like, if I can get into, like, Zaizan, Turfan, Uyghur Sangpa, and you can get into, like, Ob, Aimuli and stuff, and we can hit Turkestan and Yarkand at the same time, break in, then, like, this position just falls apart. It's, like, a long-term plan, but that's what we're going for. Yeah, cut the support here, so that can't go. Support this one out, so you can't get into Bay of Tonkin. Again, just do the convoy as a support to bounce, because he's going to attack that. Just kind of simple stuff. So this is, again, I don't know why he's trolling me this hard, right? Like, instead of just going for a dot himself, he supports Dutch into Ute's dot for whatever reason. But I'm doing the trade with Ute, so I go into Zambo. Take Monado. What was the plan here? Yeah, I can't remember. But I was planning the next year that I wanted to punch myself into Java C, so I wanted to keep my units in Celebes and Flores, and then yeah, I think drop one to Makassar, but I wanted to get into Java C so then I could hit Binjar Masson. And I think that's about talk about Tasnica.
All right. So, in Europe, as I mentioned, I'm doomed. There's just lots of tactical guesses to try to slow down my three neighbors as much as possible. And I get most of the guesses wrong. I am evicted from Krakow. I don't get Gdansk back. I don't get Ochkiv back. I don't get Targo back. I don't get Khan back. I do manage to hold on to Smyrna by convincing Ottoman to attack Levantine. So that is a small silver lining. But just about everything goes wrong. Notably, Sweden stabs Safavid here to, what should be no one's surprise, but Safavid seems surprised by this for some reason. Getting into Moscow as well. So, again, these three are already starting to fight, but it's not going to save my Europe position. Maybe it'll preserve a handful of centers, but there's no significant recovery here. In West Africa, I try to make a deal with Portugal in my colonies. Basically like, hey, England decided that he wants to die, so I want to cut a deal with you. You can just have all of Africa, it's all yours. Just help me out in South America. And Portugal agrees to do so. Well, on the African side, he does indeed start kicking out England as expected, taking Dijon, taking Timbuktu, taking Agadez. So my Africa is gone completely. He does not, however, accept my support into Cormanton. Not that would have ended up mattering anyway. But instead, he moves his fleets eastward, presumably to try to force Gulf of Guinea next spring. And in the Caribbean, Portugal immediately stabs on our deal. He does not support me into Palermo as agreed. He does not leave Kalina alone so that I can take Cayenne. Instead, he takes Kalina for himself, and both Cayenne and Palermo are not taken by me. So that's extremely bad. That's instead of going up one in that little corner of South America, I go down two, which is quite awful. Meanwhile, Oot also stabs me. He was supposed to support me into Cartagena and Baracoa. Instead, he support holds Cartagena, which isn't even necessary. So that's just
Just a
all right.
signaling move, like, hey,
Yeah.
we're friends. You're convoying me, so I'm giving you support back.
Yeah, I've only spent literally the entire game trying to build up a relationship with Oot, but thought to see what he thought about that. And of course, he doesn't support me into Barco, and he takes Savannah instead. He tries to walk into Belize as well. So, just like I warned England, hey, I understand if you want to fight me in the Caribbean. There's at least some logic there, unlike in Africa. But if you do, and you don't cover yourself against Oot, Oot is going to kill you. And here is Oot killing him. So I do not get into Baracoa. And I am very unhappy with Oot right now. Unfortunately, I was also stabbed by Portugal. So my options for alternatives are extremely limited. Really, the only leverage I have on Oot is, hey man, that's really not cool. The Caribbean is literally my only solid theater left. The only place on the board where I have any pride or hope in. I'm going to invest everything in there. Every disband I have is coming from their theaters. If you have ambitions of taking my Caribbean, give them up. I will fight you. However, if you want to, work with me and help me out like you've been promising, we can still be allies. We can still work together. And I can use my position to really help you out in the Atlantic if Portugal ever causes you any trouble. Which, how's Portugal doing right now? He's currently at 59.
52.
After fall moves.
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
after the fall moves go through, Portugal's going up +7.
Yeah.
Portugal's going up +7. He's utterly dominating Africa and Iberia. He's got a strong Indian position. He's got 4 fleets in the Atlantic with numerous more nearby. Like, Portugal's position here is really strong.
I do want to note one thing too. This was we always were suspicious about Portugal wanting to bring Azeron in, but I remember this turn was the one where I was like sure that he was not going to bring Azeron in because we were agreeing that like Portugal was going to have to I was going to be one to give Azeron like a dot or two if we had to get him over, and then Portugal was also supposed to give him like a bunch of dots to get him over, and they were supposed to do this agreement where like Azeron was gonna get Fort Dauphin and something else, but Portugal ended up turning it into a trade for Ceylon. And then what else was it? There was some other move where like he was supposed to be the one. Okay, I guess this was what was it? Something else that like brought up a red flag. This also too brought up a red flag where I was like, okay, he's coring in a fall turn on in like this late in the game. He's pushing Azeron up here. Like he's probably gonna move this off on fall the next turn into Mongo and build another army here and then push into Banda. He's caught this here. I can't remember what else. This moving here. Again, I think it's the next turn where it really locks it in. But I think I was like very suspicious on this one. But again, he does like some weird move where he moves into Africa on that next turn. And I was like, okay, he's gonna stab Azeron like 100% here. But like he kind of gave away signals. It might have been a turn before this where Azeron was supposed to be the one who. Or no, I think that is next turn. I'll keep quiet on that. But yeah, he's even looking like a position where he's setting up on a big Azeron stab too. After he like has just finished working with them to get this area, so he's even more scary than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to tell Oot, and also Imira too, because Imira's like, "Well, the game's about to end," and I'm like, Portugal is set up for some pretty crazy stuff. Yes, they're not going to like insta solo if they go for it. It isn't like it's going to be like a 1 year thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can consolidate a strong enough position in the Atlantic and controlling the continents on both sides of it,
Yeah.
they can just grind their way up to a victory. Even if it takes several years, Portugal can get up to 90 plus centers.
Yeah, I
If
said that too. In a very, very long game, this entire area goes to Portugal. I think all of India, probably all of this area goes to Portugal naturally. Um, and I don't know how much further than that, like very natural, but he can still grow further than that too. Did you leave you alone after this? I think he did, right? Or is it a
and
little more?
we'll find out, right? We'll find out
Yeah.
next year whether
I,
because my relationship with Uth this game has been super friendly for like 10 years.
yeah.
Basically like, hey, yeah, I'll fight the colonials in the Caribbean, you'll get some cores, build some fleets. Um and in fairness, Uth didn't like directly attack me this year, but he did, leave me hanging on two important supports
Mhm.
after promising them to me. And you know, doesn't feel good, especially when it's not clearly going to result in an immediate win for him.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact timing, but I think it might have been this exact turn. But I was talking to you, and he originally his whole plan, like he wanted to get a lot more growth in the Caribbean, and I didn't really think that's why I wanted him to go to South America so hard because I felt like it was so much harder to grow in the Caribbean than it would be to like take this whole coast. I think it was around this turn where he was like, "Man, Poland is going to be such a hard like nut to crack," and I think he told me exactly like, "Oh, he told me he's never given up the Caribbean and he's gonna like pump more units into it." And I'm wondering if I should just like make peace with him and go this way. And I think I was like, yeah, that's like not a bad idea because Poland puts like pressure on Portugal here and that can slow him down and just put us in a better spot if we want to try to cut him out or if we need to slow him down for if he goes for a solo run or something like that. So I was in favor. I think right before this turn, before you got like totally screwed up, for like a brief turn, I was like, okay, you need to attack Poland because he's a blocker now. But like after the spring, I was like, yeah, you should like work with Poland and just leave him here to fight Portugal and stuff. And like you can go into North Atlantic, and then like we could start putting pressure on Portugal if we wanted, or I wanted Ute and Atha to go up and put pressure on Sweden. Oh, if we needed to cut Sweden out.
Oh yeah, because that's the thing about the whole, hey, let's remove Poland as a blocker plan, right? You do realize that creates 3 new blockers instead, right?
Yeah, exactly. That was the reasoning too, where it's like we don't really want Poland to die because all 3 people who are most worried about blocking Azuron, like we said, we're thinking he's gonna get stabbed at this point. So it's literally just Safavid, you are going down, so we're not worried about you, and then it's Sweden and Austria.
Oh
And
yeah, speaking of me going down, if we take a look at the scoreboard, this is my minus 10 year, which I believe is the worst year I've ever had in a game of Imperial Diplomacy. It is just truly something else. Oh, is your image like cropped or something?
yeah, it is. Here we go. Yeah, this is
Yeah, I was at 26 at the beginning of the year. Now I'm at 16. But I gambled for a chance at a win, and the gamble failed. Everyone stabbed. Now it's just a matter of trying to prevent as many of the people who stabbed me from winning as possible, and preserving the one theater I have that's actually solid in any capacity.
yeah. Already got the map up, so no builds here from Meepstir, but what do you think about the nice Ayu dispense?
I mean, yeah, I'm not complaining. Like, Personally, it's nice to have less. This is a pretty controversial opinion, but I like it when the people I'm fighting in a war and diplomacy don't have any units.
Mhm.
You guys might disagree, but I mean, like I was kind of like, yeah, that sucks that he's keeping the fleets by that are only against you, Canadian. Now that really sucks. Um, but yeah, this is probably the best I could have seen.
Yeah, I was happy to see it too. Obviously, only has like 2 units left, but nice
I
to
mean, he's
finally.
obviously going for his capital, but he can't actually get it back without Mughal help because you can
Was
tap
this?
both of
Oh
them.
wait, I should mention during this turn that this is the turn that I tried to flip Ezio,
Yeah.
I think. Um, I kind of was like, okay, this Moogle position looks evil. This looks impossible to break. I do kind of want this to go faster because I like again, I'm fine with the war taking longer, but what I really don't want is I don't want the game to end before I get dots.
Hmm.
Um, because the farther we get into Mugos, the more like I like it. Definitely, Canadian's going to give me Kunming. I'll probably be in a position eventually request another dot, force another dot. So uh, I'm wanting Ayu to kind of be like Ayu is obviously going to die here, and I'm kind of doing the calculus and being like, will Ezio accept to like decide to stay on one if he breaks this Mughal position? And so I go to Canadian and ask him to pitch this because Ezio's not going to accept it from me. So Canadian, you can say how that went.
Yeah, I said, "Do you want to?" I can't remember. It was like, "Do you want to be my vassal?" And he just didn't respond.
I actually think he did actually. I was looking at the chat and I
Did
think he
he?
sent the 300
That was
well,
after. That was
was that
after
after?
moves.
Okay.
Yeah, because I somehow fuck up here. Um, I don't know for whatever reason. I guess I'll do it when we see moves a bit more. But I thought Mughals was gonna support IUN for sure. I don't know why. I was just like, oh yeah, Mughals
I
is
did as
gonna
well.
support Gulf of Siam in. I just screwed him over last turn. He's just gonna like make up with Ezio, put him in there because obviously he doesn't want me to start convoying armies in, and I'm working with Ming and we're fighting him up here. So like that's just the move, right? So if I'm gonna lose Ayutthaya no matter what, I don't even need Ute to tap Gulf of Siam because Mughals could just walk into Ute's dot, and then Ute is down one, and I want to end this game soon. I don't want him losing dots. So I say, don't tap Gulf of Siam. You can support me out in case he uses Cambodia to support himself in, because I'm just gonna walk into Fan Rang, and then if he or I'm gonna what was it? I'm gonna lose that no matter what I think. But I think if he was to do it into Cambodia, I can't remember. I was just like accepting that I was gonna lose this no matter what. I don't know why.
And like in
I
fairness,
originally looked at thinking of getting him to tap it, and that would have been the smarter move if like you're super selfish and don't care about him getting more dots. But and again, this is like in the bigger picture, this is a selfish thing because I do just want to win the game. But like I do want to, I should have just got him to tap Gulf of Siam while I also tap it, and then I tap Cambodia, so it's just untakeable. And then even if
well, it's not untakeable, right? If Gulf SAM gets supported in, then your tap fails,
yeah, that's right.
and then Knock on C walks in, and then Mughal backfills him.
Yeah, if that's happening. But again, like in hindsight, I knew these two hated each other. The entire Iolus was telling me the whole game, or the whole half of this game, like his whole goal is to kill Ayutthaya and like just score above Ayu in the scoreboards. So I should have just had what I knew from my diplomacy and just did it. But I remember just looking at that and like I don't know, that was stupid. So I end up losing this dot this year for a spoiler, even though I should totally win. But yeah. Um, Up here, Russia builds a unit, and our plan is to send it to Zizan to try to punch into Yarkand. I think I am planning to like punch into Uyghur, and then I'm trying to get Ming to support me down into Rinpongpa because I want to start breaking into this area. Said before, we have more units to backfill and stuff. Um. Oh yeah, I should have talked about that too. Athapaska should have never been in Gulf of Vander. I never told him not to go there, but I remember he was using fleets to go up to Vichak, Chukchi, and then either go to Arctic Ocean or this way. And then like one turn, he just moved into Gulf of Ander randomly, and I was like, what are you doing in Gulf of Ander?" Like the only this was when I still owned both of these before he like moved into there. But I was like, "What are you doing in Gulf of Ander? Like the only thing is the ocean here and my 2 units or my 2 dots." And he said like he's planning to go into South Pacific and start pushing out that way. And I was like, "You were like, oops." I was like, "Me and you have a deal where like we only have 2 units in the ocean each, and like I don't want your third unit in here because then that opens up attacks on Edo, which is the whole point of like having a 2 unit limit." So I asked him if like he were to move into or the Pacific Ocean, which I didn't even really want him to because once me and Ute won this area, I was like, okay, this is just solely our control over the ocean at this point. Like, no one else is going to be able to touch any adjacent square that we control to any of these. Like, we're just going to control that for the rest of the game. Obviously, he was part of the alliance, but I still just wanted me and Ute to control that stuff. So when he was there, that's when he came up with the idea to get like Carrick. So that might have been a good like long-term play on his part, just to like stick the unit here. And that was also what incentivized me to give Carricks away for Krasnoyarsk too, because I didn't want him going down here. So I was just like, all right, like stick your fleet in Carricks. Oh yeah. And then I think I also stuck this in Okhotsk because I wanted to pin him in this spot for the rest of the game. Like I wanted to say I'm gonna tap Carricks until the end, and then like you just stay there, and like this will prevent anything else. But I think I agree to like let him get out something, or maybe he hangs around here. I can't remember exactly the thing, but I don't think I do end up doing that for whatever reason. Ewok's a good talker too. Um,
Oh yeah, Ewok had incredible press this game.
yeah, very very good. One of the best I've played with. Um, yeah, Dutch disbands here, which is a nice disband for me, and nothing too much more notable. The army build in Hawaii, it's gonna be convoyed somewhere. Yeah. Tasnica?
Yeah, so as I told Oot and others, Europe and Africa are going. Africa is just completely wiped. I have no units left there anymore. I've got Bornu, and that's about it. As for what to disband in Europe, I'd get rid of Smyrna because it's isolated and easily taken. So I'm just like, I'm not going to defend that tactically. Maybe I can pull off something in press, but my unit's not going to matter. I take off Transylvania to try to give Austria at least some incentive to focus on the others over me, because I'm basically no threat to him outside of Krakow. And then I disband the 2 units by Sweden as my final 2 disbands. And this is part of a rather interesting thing where Sweden starts talking to me again. After he stabbed Safavid and that relationship, became awful again. And, Sweden has had tense relations with all of his neighbors. It's just been especially bad with me. So now that I'm like dying horribly, it's becoming, those other conflicts are firing back up. So Sweden finally responds to my attempts to, reopen press with him. And I'm like, hey, listen, I know you hate my guts. I know you are insta-stabbing me in every game we ever play for the next decade. But consider this. I could be your vassal in Europe. There's only going to be one winner in Europe. There's no way multiple people are all reaching via CC and getting into the impunity. If you want that to be you, you need to fight Austria and Safavid, and I can help. I will disband my armies closest to you. I will coordinate with you. We can push Austria back. We can push Safavid back. We can get you into a position where you can actually win this game rather than just getting stuck in the 20s forever and falling short. And I actually do a bunch of press with Sweden over several days. And he gradually starts responding to me and becoming receptive. And again, I'm screwed either way. Like, I'm not winning Europe. My goal is simply to prevent all three of these players from winning. And if I can get Sweden fighting both of them, there is a good chance that none of them will win. And if just Sweden wins out of the three of them, well, I stopped two of them from winning. So that's better than nothing. We'll see in spring how that pans out. And then in the Caribbean, I keep everything because the Caribbean is my pride and joy. And my neighbors can pry it from my cold, dead hands. Note, however, that I'm not even sure. Am I even overbuilt in the Caribbean? Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 centers, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
You're
units.
even.
Yeah, so I'm not even overbuilt in the Caribbean. So like, it isn't even like, oh, I'm got 5 extra units in the Caribbean because I'm throwing away the entire rest of the board just to spite Oot or something. No, it's 10 units and 10 centers. If I was a Caribbean regional, this would be a valid position.
Yeah, this is definitely your strongest region for sure. I fully agree. Like, you gotta keep this strong, and Europe's just so dead long term, like you said. This one actually is survivable.
Yep. And, there is the issue, of course, that, all my neighbors just stabbed me, and only 2 of them are even doing press with me still. So that does complicate things. But at least I have units to defend it.
All right. Sure.
Lots more black arrows here.
Like to see it.
We like to see it. Definitely. I was a little upset when I saw this moveset, though. I'll admit. I could have gotten into Kunming here. I'm not sure if I could have held. No, I could have held it. But that's just sometimes like I do think that a lot of the time this is the right play. If Mughals had supported Kunming, and then I had just like attacked it for no reason, I would have been quite upset. Or what am I saying? Yeah. Like the fact is that we've made progress. I'm in Guangxi right now, and it's really funny because like we had a coin flip here. I believe if we wanted to go for it, I think at the beginning of the turn we were discussing doing the coin flip because you can either try to force Rinpungpa or you can either try to force Kunming, but you can't do both. What was even the force for Rinpungpa here?
I think it was supporting Kunming. We weren't expecting it. Or
you might
you
be
support
right.
Sangpa with Kun. And then if you support Sangpa down and like I give you or you give me support or something. I can't remember. It was something like that.
I think he might have done a moveset that didn't allow it. But the important part is that him doing this moveset that didn't allow it allows us to take Kunming if we want it. Because it's a coin flip. So he just did the thing that disallowed us from taking Rinpungpa. But meanwhile, I just said, I mean, it's a coin flip. I don't know how many turns there are left in the game. He still has some units on the board. And again, I'm also thinking, like you were Canadian, that he's going to be supporting Ayu up. I'm completely expecting that Chiang Mai is going to be supporting one of these fleets into Ayu. It's going to be popping some stuff, and it's not going to be an issue. So I just figure like by next year, um, he'll have he'll only have 2 units no matter what I do here on Kunming with this moveset that can make any movements, and that way I'll be able to guarantee getting my dot in the fall. And so that's what I go for. And we repositioned, and it was the wrong move in hindsight, but yeah.
Yeah, and I think it just gives us a coin flip again, right?
Yeah, it does. It gives us the exact same coin flip on Ring Pung Po or Kunming again.
So yeah. First move I'll talk about wall of shame here. I made a wall on my void at the end of all my terrible moves. This one is horrible. I remember I asked like you to support me out at the end too, and I was like, that's just such a stupid move. But I guess I was expecting Golf to get supported up and trying to get a brace there, but man, that's rough. I should have just got you to cut his support there.
Like not to dunk on you anymore, but assuming you're like expecting like Ayu to move to Ayutthaya
Yeah.
from Gulf of Siam with Mughal support, this moveset doesn't work anyways.
Yeah, I know. I think it was I was in case he like blocked fan rank again. I was just like
Wait,
throwing this dot
doesn't
away. I was like, I have lost Ayutthaya. Like they are gonna throw 3 on it or something, and like maybe I can do some stupid moveset to salvage it if they fuck up. I think
why
that was
wouldn't
my
it work?
mindset going into this. But
Because
like,
we were expecting Gulf of Siam to move to Ayutthaya with 2 supporters.
With two supporters.
yeah,
Chiang
yeah.
Mai
I
and
think that's
Cambodia.
exactly what it was. And then
Yeah,
like
Because
that's what
if one of
I
them
thought you
didn't,
thought he was going to bounce Fan Rang with the other fleet, do one support into Ayutthaya, and then send Cambodia to Fan Rang.
yeah, it was
no,
something like that. It
I
was
don't yeah, I don't think we were expecting that because like this is only spring and he's got so much power that even the bouncing fan rang and doesn't really help because you're just gonna lose it in fall anyways.
I was
Um
also thinking this
so
was
yeah.
gonna get cut too. Like I remember thinking this was almost gonna be pointless because I was thinking like, oh, what they were
Oh
gonna
yeah, because
think is we're gonna cut
Tavoy's
Gulf of
not.
Siam until Void just
Yeah.
walks in as Ezio supports himself in and gets supported in from Chiang Mai. Like, so I was like, that's probably getting cut.
Yeah. I
It's
mean
just
yeah, I have plenty of like issues, I guess. I not real issues, but like annoyances with how Owlis played this game,
yeah.
but goddamn did he know how to make the tactics fucking terribly hard. Um
Yeah, and this was like last 10 minutes or something too, a last minute thing. I think I was originally just getting him to hold, which still wouldn't have worked, but whatever. Uh, I'll go elsewhere here. So, I finished my Korin Bratsk. These 2 bounce here. I give him support just in case he gets forced out, and I support myself into Uyghur because, like I said, my plan's to put pressure on Yarkand, and then I eventually want to like get a unit into Sangpa. Easier to push down at a Rinpungpa and then down. I am planning on stabbing Russia this turn because I can't remember. I am getting a bunch of growth, but I still plan on stabbing him anyway because I think I'm just getting greedy and like don't want to sit around and do nothing. And I finished my Brat's core too.
Aren't
But
you thinking of trying to have a group impunity soon?
yeah, we've been trying to plan this. I'll talk about this right after these moves because this is where we go for it. But we've been trying to do this the whole time, and every time I've looked at it in fall, I've just gone like, "There's no way we can do it. Like we're not high enough, or someone else is too high to block us." I don't think up until this point, yeah, everyone below me has never been above 100. This was the first turn I got to 100, and I knew no one else was gonna get there this turn, so like we weren't trying to gun for it. But I remember like after the spring we were looking at it, and I'll talk a bit more about that. But this decision was made before I think we were gonna gun for it this spring or this year. I like agreed with Ute. I convoy his army out of Koryax because I don't want it there, and we stick it in Kawaskar, and he puts another army into Honduras or to take Belize, I guess, or something. Down south, I punch into Java Sea. Dutch misorders a bit here. Tries to go to Benjamin, but there's a Kubai here or something. Kind of hard to see, but not doesn't connect, so that doesn't work. Even if it did, I cut it. I do give my support into Azuron, And I was kind of pissed to see this move. I was like, "What the hell, dude? We gave you Australia like we were DMZ, and I'm giving you Batavia. Like, why'd you move into Coral Sea?" We ended up getting an explanation from him like a day later, and I did buy it like probably 90%. You can never buy anything 100% in the game, but I really did trust his explanation here. Ajuran, ever since like I want to say 1649, 1650, has been sending Ute, Athapaska, and I his entire move set on what he's going to do in Africa, what he's going to do in India and Ocean. He's sending us parts of Portugal's move set on what he's doing here because he really does not want to get left out of the impunity. And he's like, these are the moves I'm doing. If anyone has any objections on what I'm doing, tell me. Like, I am planning on getting this many dots this year. Like, this is how long I think it'll take me to get to 100%. If and I need I want like dots from Toku and stuff. And he talked to me about this, and like I said, I eventually told him like, hey, if we really need to get across the line, and like what's stopping us from ending the game is me giving you like Timor or Danny, like I'll 100% do that. I have no problem giving away the dots to end the game. So he sent me the move set with this move in there this turn, and I was like, I don't like this move yet. I don't think we're going to end the game this year, so I'd prefer you to hold off in Australia here and not do this move. And he was like, okay, I won't. And then he did it anyway. And then he didn't respond to me for like a day later. I was like, hey,
Oh,
what the hell,
gosh.
dude? What was that?
I said, "Oh gosh." So what happened next?
He came back and he was like, sorry, man, I had like a family emergency or something like that. And like, I didn't end up changing my move set from what I had punched in like originally. And I looked around and it was the exact same. And I looked at things like this where he was supposed to give Portugal support into Bay of Bengal, but he gave support to like a move that wasn't happening anymore because Portugal was doing this convoy. And Athapaska and like myself and him and stuff were trying to get a hold of him like a day before, and he just wasn't on. So I was like, okay, that's actually like pretty believable. Ajuran has been extremely trustworthy this whole game. This is like such a random move to do when I've helped him out, and like we're not touching him at all. Like he's told us everything else true. He gave this weird move. I was like, he's probably telling the truth here. Like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not gonna like dive everything down to cover him. And I'm not. Originally, that's what we were thinking. We're just like, man, like we all trusted Ajuran, and he fucking does a weird little snipe like this on us. Like, how could he? But at the end of the day, we were like, okay, we believe him. He was gonna go back to Gulu and stuff. So this didn't end up being too huge.
Wait, because at the very minimum, he like committed to the bit, right? Like, even if it was a stab, he at least made sure to like mimic all of his original moves that he sent.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it would have been good. The only thing was like we all trusted him, and Athapaska was saying that too. Like he was having long chats with him about trying to get him in. He really trusted him that he was being genuine and stuff. So we all got the vibe that he was being legit. But it would have been a really good. I would have been so pissed if he sniped me after this. Um. Yeah, elsewhere it's good though. Obviously, there's nothing defending these coasts, so these are just free walk-ins. Nothing's defending Mac. Or I think even if she does retreat to Makassar, yeah, I can support it. Salt subbed out at this point, and Madison, I think it was subbed the Madison. I can't remember her name.
Hey there, Mads.
Yeah, hey there, Mads. She subbed in at this point, so she was playing for a little bit. And I remember after this move, I went to her and I was like, "Hey, like Ajuran just stabbed me in the back. Do you want support into back or support back into Batavia or something like that?" And she was like, "Sure." Like, I've been trying to reach Ajuran and he hasn't talked to me for like 2 days or something like that. She even backed it up, and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, "You're the only one talking to me, so I'll agree to do what you want." So I kind of revassalized Dutch here for the next turn. Yeah, we do agree to do this. I can't remember if he's supposed to go out or he's supposed to go down or something. What is it? Can't remember. But he again, I don't want him to go to the ocean. He kind of wants to go to the ocean, and we're like trying to figure out like, all right, I don't want you to go to the ocean if Athapaska goes at the same time, kind of thing. But I do agree to let him get there. I still stick around this area because I'm always worried about convoy Chukchis into Vanki or something like that. So I always want to be able to bounce that out. yeah, more units into Asia, trying to get more units into the ocean and stuff. Here. Oh yeah, I tried to get into South Atlantic Ocean because I want to start putting pressure on Portugal and stuff, and I want to just get more reach, more like I want to just expand how far I can reach on this board and like how much I can influence. I do end up getting a support from Ambrosius, I'm pretty sure, from this fleet here, Argentine Basin, but Portugal randomly supports himself out to the same tile that I guess. I could have went for 1 or 5. We end up guessing supports on the same one, so we bounce each other out, and my fleet gets bounced back, sadly. And my Bonin fleet also gets bounced back. That's like kind of
Oh,
a big
geez.
tempo kill there. Portugal is not happy about this with me because we were all agreeing to win together, and he's like, what is that move? I can't. I
Did
said
you
something
just not
cheeky.
trust him to tell him about it?
Huh? Yeah, I was like, oh, I couldn't tell you because obviously you were gonna bounce me out. I just want to go to Oh, I was telling him I was going to attack you. I think I was like, oh, I want to get into here so I can get into like Leeward Sea and attack Poland with you. He needs my help, and I couldn't tell you because you were gonna bounce me out. So that was my plan. But yeah, I was trying to get into like south. I wanted to get into this area here because it was so like look at all these dots here and how little defended it is. I
You
wanted to
needed to
get
get
into Indian
someone
Ocean.
to dislodge you so you can do a retreat move into whatever's empty.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, lots going on now, but that's about it. I think we're still going for the attacks on Safavid here. Athapaska is actually making a little bit of progress, creeping closer to Astrakhan here, or Kiva. Again, they're still making this deal about Caspian Sea dot. I don't believe it. I'm telling him just go for like Turkestan and stuff. Like we should try to crack into here. But yeah. Tasnica.
All right, so Polish Europe. So I don't find out about this until after the game, at least not in detail. But basically, in the final few hours of the phase, a series of events happen that really just tell you so much about my three neighbors in Europe. So it starts with Sweden going to Austria. Sweden, again, has been gunboating me for a while. No press. A few days ago, we finally started doing press again and made some deals. But as far as anyone else knows, we're not talking because Sweden's been telling everyone how much he hates my guts, how he has me muted, etc. But then it goes to Austria, who again, Austria has been, well, they've both been snakes to each other all game. Lots of stabs back and forth. But Sweden goes, hey, Austria, I've started talking to Poland again, but I'm worried he might be up to something. Has Poland talked to you at all? And Austria's like, what? You're talking to Poland again? Really? No, I've got no idea what's going on. He hasn't talked to me at all about it. And Sweden's like, cool, thanks. Then Austria immediately goes to Safavid and is like, hey, Safavid, Poland and Sweden are talking again, and they've made some sort of deal. Safavid goes to Sweden and goes, oh, hey, Sweden, how's it going? Are we good for our current deals and stuff? And Sweden's like, yeah, things are pretty good. And Safavid's like, cool. Just wanted to let you know that Poland has leaked all of your plans to me. I know that the two of you have a deal, but I'd rather work with you. And Sweden just loses his goddamn mind. Like, how dare Poland betray me again? Leak all of my stuff to you. I can't stand this guy. He is like the most highness diplomacy player of all time. What a complete jerk. Yes, I'm going to full side with you and destroy Poland. Moves come around. Sweden stabs me alongside Safavid, while Austria stabs Sweden. And I'm like, dude,
God.
Sweden, what's going on? We spent days reopening communications and working out a deal. And Sweden's like, no, I know you leaked everything to Sofavid and we're going to betray me. I'm like, do my moves look like that was my plan? Why would I leak all that to Sofavid? Anyway, the end result is that Sweden leaks his own secret to Austria and then has it fed back to him by Sofavid and blames me for it.
Someone
So
someone mentioned, I think it was Ewok who mentioned, Aqua is very good at like taking a little piece of information and like what is it, extrapolating or something, or like just understanding like what that piece of information was and turning it into something so much bigger than like what he actually got.
oh yeah.
Like exactly
So
something like that, where he just heard like you guys had a deal, and then goes to Sweden and like blows it up. Like, oh, I know you have a deal, but he gave me every move too, because they do this to me later in the game too. I think
yeah.
this fall.
So props to Austria, props to Sofavid, Sweden. Come on, man. Like look just look at this. You really trusted Austria with that? Uh so yeah, Europe is extra dead. Because I'm still fighting all of my neighbors. Um no one goes for Smyrna in spring though. They all go for positioning. So I've managed to not lose that yet. So that's nice.
Yeah, hopefully we get a nice
Meanwhile,
bounce over it and then fall.
meanwhile in the Caribbean, um, England and Portugal are still working together. Aymara and Portugal are still working together. But I do have the great pleasure of finally wiping Spain out of the entire Western Hemisphere. So I hope trolling me was worth it.
That's
Uh,
crazy. It's still hanging around here.
Marble is mine. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Um, Oots, quote, makes things up to me by supporting me into Cartagena. But I'm pretty sure he leaked that to Aymara
I think he told me
to
he did
ensure.
too.
No,
I'm
this
pretty
is just
sure
Um,
he told
this
me
is
this.
just he just decided to bounce. He just decided to bounce
yeah,
it for no reason.
yeah. I didn't buy that one for a second. Um, I'm like, yeah, sure, buddy. Especially since I'm pretty sure he was also supposed to tap Barakoa. So yeah, my happiness level with Oot is still low. Like again, I'm still chatting with every phase, kind of like, hey man, I want to be your friend. I want to work with you here. You just really gotta stop throwing me under the bus. Would be really nice. So yeah, I get Parmerbo back. I do not get Cartagena, and I get evicted from Jamaica. So could be worse in the Caribbean. Could also be a lot better.
Uh, and clean or the clean maps after spring here.
Yeah.
I'll start with there.
Yeah, so sort of kind of we have the war going on in the south, but at this point, like I'm definitely I don't know, like I've been close to Canadian for a while. We've been talking. I mean, we're just I don't know, like we're playing a game at this point. We both know he's gonna win. He's in a position to do me a solid, so I start trying to soft launch him giving me another dot. So I start like trying to kind of make the ask like start out very light before I'll eventually ask for something more serious. So here this turn I like lay out I think my goals for the rest of the game, which I think in order were one survive on all. I think one was be above Ayu and Mughals. Two, I can't even remember what it was, but three was to be in all my home dots, and I wasn't very specific on this. But I basically just lay that out there. I say that, and I mean like it's nothing concrete at all, but it gets it in his head, and yeah, he agrees to it. He says they're all reasonable, and yeah, I leave that as like kind of a little fishing line out that I'll use later.
Yeah, I remember. I think I was fine with everything. I did not ever want you in Lanzu. I remember that.
Yeah, I was specifically trying to soft launch Lanzu.
I remember that because I was like, no, Lanzu is my path. Like that. This is how I get my armies to the front, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want you taking
but
that.
I was like, you know what? I mean, like, I can definitely attempt to diplomatically get it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it doesn't really cost me anything to try. So I try. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Anything else or?
No. At this point, I'm just like, yeah, I need to fucking kill. I need to kill Mughals, and we got a coin flip here again, and I think I was kind of. I mean, we'll see if it works out, but kind of what I'm thinking is like Mughals see that I'm always the one that ends up supporting you. Like
Mhm.
most turns happen and it ends up that I'm supporting you further down. I'm not really making any moves on like actually furthering my own interests. And I kind of am like, okay, that's Mughals is probably going to defend Rinpungpa. So I'm leaning more towards um nabbing Kunming for myself because it might be open.
Yeah, I like that too because, like, obviously this is a gamble. I like to do things where we get, even if it's a slow progression. Progression is good. So if we get into Kunming, that allows me to get into Rinpengpa easier, and yeah, so I'm all for you getting into Kunming here.
Yeah, that's
Um,
everything for me.
in the bigger picture, let me. Oh yeah, you can't see it. Okay, I am above my VSCC. Ute is 3 below his VSCC, but he is in multiple dots that he doesn't own, so he's going to get to 100%. Athapasca, only 3 away. He is getting, I think, one. This one might be a gamble or something, but he is pretty much guaranteed. Or I think he's got like 32 locked in here. And I ask Portugal at the beginning of the turn, I say, hey, do you think you can get to 100%? And he doesn't get back to me for like 2 days. So that was the thing. He might have said something like, I don't know, first or something. It was very short. Portugal, unfortunately, even though we were trying to reach out to him a lot, he didn't talk to us unless like there was something immediate to talk about. Like he didn't want to just like talk shit about what's happening over here or anything else like that. So it was kind of hard to get him on to talk to him about stuff. He didn't really mention like what he was gonna get. We were looking though, Safavid 28. We need a 30. It's hard to see because we don't have the percentages here, but we need a 35% gap to beat these people down here. For us to get a 35% gap, I did the math. This was pretty much me doing all the math on this one. We needed everyone above 106% or more, and we needed Safavid, what was it, 81 or 70? 71% or less. So 28 was too much. I think we needed Safavid on 27 or less. We needed Sweden on 23 or less. We needed Austria on 23 or less. And Azeron we also needed on 27 or less. And these were like things I was not super confident on. We could get all of these things done on the same turn. Safavid, I remember looking at their position, and I thought they were gonna go neutral. I think I was estimating like -1 to +1 or something like that. There's a few guesses up here with like Moscow. There's guesses with Portugal and stuff down here. There's a few ones, but I remember not being very confident we were gonna get Safavid down to 27, but I thought if we could get that one down, we would be able to win. Sweden, we also needed to knock down one, which is going to be hard because Sweden has like a pretty much guarantee on London here if they want to go for it. They have Königsberg here. I think they can take Wilno, but they are losing. We're expecting 2 to Austria here, like Lübeck and Brandenburg. So I was thinking like Sweden's gonna go +1, unless like we can get some weird stuff with Sweden. So I was like, maybe if Safavid takes Moscow, but then again that pumps Safavid up, so we would need to find a way to knock Safavid down one. So I wasn't like super confident we were gonna be able to knock these people down right at the beginning of the turn. Austria, we needed to make sure to not go up +5, I think, this turn. And they were actually going up quite a bit. Like they were going up Brandenburg, Lübeck, Marseille. I think they were going to lose something here. We thought they could snipe off of Sweden or Spain here. So they were also like if he won, if they were gonna if he was gonna get there. So it was. I remember I wasn't confident we were even gonna go for a win here or like try to go for a 4-way win until like the last day of this turn. Portugal did get back to us. Or I should say this first. I went to Azeron and I was like, because Portugal didn't end up getting back, and I was like, dude, you're gonna get stabbed here. Like, look, he just finished coring. Pango. He moved this unit more into your territory. Like, why is this going up here instead of like getting convoyed somewhere else or like anything like that? Why is he coring in your territory? Like, what else can this do other than that? He's perfectly set up to go Mongo and then start attacking you this way. You had a plan to get you into this. Like, you're the one that needs to get dots here. And all he's doing is like convoying his own units and taking all of India instead of like supporting you into Bay of Bengal and stuff. He's not taking your trades. Like, he's just totally setting up to stab you here. And Azeron went like, I don't think he is. So I was like, okay. And I think like 5 minutes after I send that message to Azeron, Portugal comes to me and he's like, hey, I think I can get to 100% by stabbing Azeron. And I was like, oh, well, and I was like, you need to actually get to 106% for us to be able to beat these people, and we need to knock them down. And he did the math quick and he was like, I think I can get to 106%. And he like talked to some people. And I was like, do you think, like, I don't know what's happening on this like Swedish front. Like, you have more info here than me. Like, do you think we can knock Sweden down, or Safavid down one, not Sweden, sorry. And he was like, yeah, I'll talk to Safavid, and I think I can't remember, I didn't look, I was offline at the time, but we had a 4-way conversation with us, and these 3 talked for a bit while I was offline. I remember when I went back and read it, they were like very confident that Safavid was going down 1 here. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to trust them. Like, Portugal knows what's happening here. Portugal said, yeah, I'll get to it in a minute, but some stupid shit that happens here. But he thinks he's going to get one off of Safavid somehow. And I also looked at Sweden and I was like, well, like, are we not gonna, is like Sweden not gonna go up 1 here too? And he said something about like, oh, I can't remember, Ghent or something like that he's gonna lose Ghent or something else like that. And I was like, okay, like, we might actually have a chance here to get this done this turn if we think Sweden's going down 1 and Safavid's going down 1. Like, maybe we do just gun for it. We can get everyone above 106, and they were all very enthusiastic about like trying to get this done. And I was like 50-50. I'd probably say I leaned more towards like this was not gonna happen. This was not gonna work because I knew it had to be perfect and it was gonna be by the thinnest of margin. I was telling everyone like we're gonna win by like 0.2% if we do end up winning this. Like, this is not gonna be a clean win or like a very. We're not going to have a huge lead here. Going to be very thin margin. But they were very confident. They were all enthusiastic to do it. So I was like, all right. How do we get Athapaska to 34? Because that would be what he needs to get to 36. He had, I can't remember. I don't want to do the exact count. But what he needed to get thrown 1 dot from one of us. Athapaska does not have anything touching me. So I cannot throw Athapaska a dot. Ute can, though, because he's got Koryax, and I think he actually needs to throw him 2, so he throws him like Seneca or something like that too. But because Ute is losing a dot, that means Ute needs to get thrown a dot. So I say, all right, I'll give a dot to you. What dot can I give to Ute? Nothing except Ito. and, and they sent a joke like, "Oh, are you gonna give us Ito?" And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? Sure, I'll give him Ito. But I don't want any follow-up attack to be possible here. So I said you cannot put any fleets in the ocean if I give you Ito, and I want you to immediately move out the next turn. And he was like, sure. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have like a ton of builds here. I'm gonna be able to build fleets on both. Like if he doesn't get out, like it's not a very big worry for me for him to stick a fleet there. Does he have an army? I mean, he could do a combo. I would be so pissed though. But I remember I was like pretty confident that like we were just gonna do it, and I also thought at this point in the game, I should mention that because I was like super confident I was gonna win, I did start having like these stupid side goals and stuff. Like one was to get Ming into the top 15, and then when I got him there, I wanted to get him to the top 10. One was I looked over all the previous Tokugawa maps, and I wanted to see like which dots Tokugawa had never gotten. And I believe like they had never even gotten to Karakoram. So like me getting to Karakoram, getting Krasnoyarsk, Turfan, this was like well beyond Lanzu, Jinning. This was like so far beyond what any Tokugawa had got. So I was like, I would just be funny for me to like push into Yarkand and like keep pushing this way. Tokugawas have gotten up to here. I think I saw like maps where they gotten into like Ava and stuff, so I wasn't like super pumped to try and get. I was still gonna do it just because it made tactical sense, but I didn't think that was like a new record thing. But Edo used to be the Tokugawa capital, so no Japan had ever won the game not holding Edo. So I thought that would be like a funny record where I control all these territories that Tokugawa had never held, but I don't control like Edo and I don't control Hanyang and stuff like that. I just thought it'd be like a very funny border. So I agreed to it. I was like, let's try and go for it. Let's end the game. And yeah, we go for it. But we'll go to Tasnica first.
All right, so Polish Europe. Again, I'm dead. I'm just trying to sow chaos among my neighbors, doing whatever I can to get them fighting each other.
Yeah. So as you can see, Mughals guess wrong. They do indeed prevent Ringpungpa, but we don't care because we're not going for Ringpungpa. And we, after what turn did I even lose Kunming in? What year did I lose Kunming? So apologies for the wait. I'm just scrolling
like
up
2 or 3, right?
through the maps. I lose Kunming in fall 1643.
Yeah.
And I regained Kunming in fall 1652.
9-year campaign.
9-year campaign, war is over. This is like one of the highest moments of my diplomacy career. Like this isn't a particularly like impressive game from me. Like there's a few things I'm very proud of, but like it's not a crazy result. But getting back into Kunming, managing to not die in that intervening 10 years is like I think most timelines don't have me getting back into Kunming, let's say. So yeah, it's just wonderful. I mean, everyone's collapsing. They get back into Ringpungpa, which is, I mean, it's not ideal, but what can you really do? But we get, was there? Oh yeah, that's the reason. But yeah, we also don't have the like Lanzo is busy, doing well. We'll talk about what happened to Russia, but that means that we can't move down into Zining and get more pressure on Ringpungpa immediately. But overall, I mean, like, I'm perfectly happy with this, let's say. There was no way better this turn could have gone. And then we'll move on.
Yeah. All right. So I did forget something very important here that I was going to mention, but I didn't. Penguin in his way to get Portugal. He was playing Penguin. He went to Aqua and he told him our entire plan that we were gonna go for the win here. And his reasoning was that Aqua he'd played in a game with Aqua before, and Aqua was in a position where they couldn't win, and they gave someone dots to just end the game and end in the best position they could. And Penguin said he talked with Aqua and he trusts Aqua, and Aqua is gonna give him a dot or something like that. I think it was this one. but I guess he wasn't expecting Delhi to lose or something. He also went to the same deal with Mughals, where he's like, "Hey, Mughals, like we're gonna end the game here. Support me into dots, and you'll just end the game. Like I know you don't want to play this." But Safavid immediately comes to me after Penguin does this, and I have been me and Safavid, like I said, we've had this day one alliance, and even though I've been pushing Russia towards them this entire time, and they have been my number two ally, other than Ming, who's like more of a vassal than like an equal power ally, has been attacking him, who I've been like extremely close with the entire game. Me and Aqua have kept up this facade that we are like still super good friends and we are splitting Asia together and like this is all going to plan. We're working together. And Aqua comes to me and they're like, "Hey, Penguin told me you guys are all going for the win together. He broke down all the math. He said this is what you guys need. He said you guys did it all, and I want to know if this is true because if it is, like I like I've had good conversations with you the whole game, Tokugawa. I like you. I want you to win, and if you can end the game here, I'd be this is a good place for me. If I don't believe I can win anymore, I'm
This
fine with
sounds awful
you.
familiar.
I'm fine with you guys winning this game." He says, "But if you want to be very nice to me, I would appreciate if you throw me some dots the next year and drag me into the win too, because this is what I've been telling Aqua the whole game, as like what we're gonna do. Like, hey, I I don't like the Athapaska is the one who wants to cut you, but I am totally fine if you want to win. And if I tell everyone this, right? Like I will give you dots if we get to the end, and I need to give you dots to throw you over the end. Like that is something I will do because I just want to end the game. And I was like, if that I've been telling them the whole time that I will give them like Turfan and Krasnoyarsk or something, like if we need to end the game. And they come and they tell me, they ask me, they're like, "Is that true? Like, are you gonna do this, or are you guys planning on cutting me?" I go back to Penguin and I say, like, Aqua's asking me this straight up. He just told me, like, you leaked everything. Like, what do you want me to say? And he says, like, tell Aqua the truth. Like, this is what Aqua does. So I go to Aqua and I say, Aqua, we're gonna cut you. Like, we've decided we can't have you in the win. Like the other three don't want you in. I'm ambivalent. I'm fine with you in. I'm fine with you out. I just want to end the game. I think cutting you's the quickest way, and like I think your best option here is just to end the game on the as the highest ranking non-winner. And they were like, "Yep, that's good with me." Like I can't remember something. They were just like, "Please don't attack Yarkand and we're good." And I was like, "I'm not attacking Yarkand. Don't worry." And yeah, but Aqua immediately went to Austria and South Sweden with this info and told them about our whole plan, and they made some deal where like they did not do any of the moves we expected. Or no, they did do some. I was asking Safid, I was like, I really think we can end this game like if you take Moscow and like you give Penguin some dots and something else like that. Like, or if you give Atha like Ostrakhan, you take Moscow, and then you like give Penguin something. Like that'll for sure end the game. We just need to knock Sweden down one more than he's gonna get. But yeah, they all make a plan. Or I can't remember if this actually changes it or not. Like they might have been able to defend anyway, but they all became aware and they all planned to block us in the best way they could, and it ended up working. So Athapaska and you were not happy at all with Portugal after that. They're like, "Man, he just cost us the win. Like we should have kept that quiet. Like we could have. They wouldn't have had a clue. We would have got it." I was feeding into it. I was like, "Yeah, he screwed up." Even though I didn't think it was like super likely, I was like, "Yeah, he screwed up." And I did think that was silly. I was like, "Why did you tell him? Like we should have just we should have kept it quiet." But yeah, so that ended up failing. We all do get to 106% or more, but Safavid and Sweden are both one above, so two different people block us. Austria was not high enough, so that was fine. But yeah, we didn't end up getting the win. Portugal does fully stab. Oh, he goes to Banda. Ajuran doesn't even cover it. But yeah, Portugal gets a brutal stab on Ajuran, gets him here, gets him Andaman Islands. This was supposed to, I guess, I don't know why he didn't bounce him up here, but Yeah, Ajuran does stick to what he said to me, and he goes back to Gulu. I covered Danny because I think I just want to get into that region anyway. But like, I don't cover these two because I just trust them. I give Ute Ito. Ute sticks to the deal, doesn't stick to anything else in North Pacific, so I can get that back easy. Atha takes these two from him. I try to kill Russia here, but because Aqua walks out and gets into Ob, Russia actually has a retreat and survives in Yarkand. So my genius plan of getting Russia into Yarkand finally worked, even if it was the unintended way. But we got the tip of the spear in there. Unfortunately, Russia does not like me anymore, and they don't talk to me for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
So,
I sent a RAP message to Russia immediately after seeing this moveset, and then realized I had to retract it in our own chat, and I think they just said lol.
Wait, you
yeah.
also did that? I did that
What?
too.
Yeah.
I gave Russia like the salute, GG. It was good playing with you.
And then
And then like 15 minutes
didn't
later, I'm
die.
like, wait, you can retreat into Yarkand.
Yeah.
And then I sent the like the Monty Python. I'm not dead yet.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, again, I don't care about immediately taking Rinpungpa because I don't want to take the gambles. I want to get the position on this to crack into here, and this guy will come down to get Rinpungpa next year is my plan. But he's coming in to replace. Take Hanoi. Yeah, we get Kunming, so that's great. It opens up the supports to Rinpungpa, and then I can support Ming to Bamo. I get my convoy off here to Fan Rang, so that can start working its way up. I just give up on going for Ayutthaya this year because I have position to get it next year if I get support back in and stuff, and I want to cut this or something. I can't remember, but I decide like this is better, and I'll just go for it next year. Um, Ideally, if like the screw up didn't happen, like Ute and I would be getting cores off on these plots and like eventually pull them out. And you could either get like a West Coast fleet or an army to go up to Savoy. I wanted to build armies to go up into this area along with convoying them from Formosa. So that's kind of what I was looking at there. Dutch. I think I stab Dutch here. I think I tell her I'm gonna support her into Batavia because like Ajuran screwed me, and then I just stab for Ben just from because I wanted no one to tap Java C. I go for that super cocky moveset of using Java C as the support just because I knew what was going on. Salt does bounce me out of celibacy, so that's a little tempo loss, but get Makassar. I start going into. Oh, yeah. In case the game doesn't end, I start getting position on Portugal because I want to start attacking Portugal and get him lower just in case he's going to be a threat later on. Ute also stabs Ajuran because like we're going for the win. It's a free center. Ajuran can't stop it. Do I sneak? No, I don't sneak South Atlantic, but we're getting into this position here, so that's nice. Ajuran, I go immediately after this turn, and I'm like, yo, sorry, man. I really wanted to bring you into the win. Like, I like talking to you and stuff, but obviously Portugal told us he's going to cut you, and there's no possible way we can bring you in if, like, Portugal's not even just not throwing you dots, but if he's cutting you out, like, we just can't bring you in. And he's like, yeah, understandable, man. Like, now I just want to get revenge on Portugal, so I'll be your vassal and I'll give you my move sets next year, and you just tell me like what you want me to do, and whatever, I'll do it. I was like, all right, sweet. Well, I'll get him to help. I'll keep him on side, and we'll start pushing him towards Portugal too, because Portugal's gonna steal his entire area and be a massive threat in this area if I don't start pushing in myself and working with Ajuran against him. Ute gets almost this whole area, so lots of progress there. Do those both fleets get out, so both of these fleets get replaced, and we're in a better position there. And yeah, guess that's kind of it. But yeah, we fail our goal of getting the impunity this year by one center blocks from Safavid and Sweden. And that's the big picture story. But Poland.
Yeah, so Polish Europe. I'm continuing my efforts to get my neighbors fighting each other, but the only real realm I succeed in that is Austria and Sweden continuing to fight. I do put Sweden into Krakow, but all three of them cite the impunity group as the reason for not following through on their own deals with me. I'll be like, hey, yeah, the big four are all scheming to impunity together. We knew about it, so we had to take your dots as quick as possible to stop them. You may note that one dot they do not take is Smyrna. Austria wisely realizes that there's no way both him and Safavid are going to win this game. So he decides to take Ochakiv instead of Smyrna, so that he's got more of a front line against the Safavids. And Safavid, for his part, is like, well, if this game continues, I need growth that's not Poland, because Polish dots are really hard for me to take and hold against Austria and Sweden. So I'm going to start pushing into Africa. It would have been fantastic if Safavid had come to this conclusion before he stabbed me. But, he's now at what? 1 dot more than we were allies? So, but yeah, Smyrna is still mine somehow, but I lose almost everything else. Like, what do I have in Europe after this turn? I've got Warsaw, Jassy, and Smyrna. That's my that's my European colony, basically, at this point.
Strong core. Nice and compact.
In Africa, I'm dead, and surprise, surprise, Portugal is killing England immediately after killing me.
Yep.
Who could have seen that coming? So England is going to lose everything. He still has 2 centers after this turn, but they're completely surrounded, and there is no way Portugal is going to let those live. In the Caribbean, there's some interesting drama at the last minute. So, I'm constantly telling England that Portugal is going to stab him, which is true. Portugal does stab for Cayenne this turn. And I'm also telling Portugal that, hey, not Portugal, I'm telling England, hey, Oot's going to stab you. You should really work with me before Oot takes what's left of your stuff. And England's like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to keep working with Oot anyway, and I'm going to continue attacking you this turn. And I'm like, whoa, thanks for telling me that, England. Good luck against Oot. And as you can see, England loses Belize and Baracoa. So literally all he has left in the Caribbean is Jamaica from me. Another interesting last-minute development is coming from Aymara. So, I've obviously been planning on taking Cartagena this entire turn. But my original plan was to take it from Caribbean Sea with support from Bay of Panama, while Caracas taps Orinoco in order to guarantee that Portugal can't put 3 on Palermo. And Oot is promising me the entire phase that he is going to tap Bogota. He's just reaffirms this over and over again. Like, yep, I'll tap Bogota, so that we can destroy that Aymaran army. Then Aymara comes to me in like the last hour of the phase, and he's like, hey, Portugal and Oot have some sort of scheme to win the game together, and are going to be attacking each other in Bogota. So you should make sure, and also England is helping them. So you should take Cartagena from Bay of Panama, and make sure it is well supported. And Aymara seems pretty sincere in this, and I'm like, all right, I will take that into consideration. You should probably tap Panama though if they're doing this. And he's like, yeah, sorry, I can't spare the tap on Panama. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm like, okay. So with 1 minute left before deadline, I changed my orders from Caracas tapping Orinoco and supporting Caribbean Sea in to supporting Bay of Panama in with both units. And good thing that I did, because Oot lies again to me, does not tap Bogota, instead supports Portugal in, which, if I had tapped Orinoco, means I would have walked out of Caracas and Aymara could have retreated into it.
Oh my god.
1 minute before deadline. Now, again, I am the sort of person I hate changing moves last minute. It's 90% of the time it's a terrible idea. But just from my reads on all of the players, I'm like, yeah, I've got to do this. If England outright told me that he's helping Oot, there's a really good chance he taps Bay of Panama. Maybe he walks out of Jamaica. That would be hilarious. Oot's being sus. Aymara seems really sincere. Unfortunately, Aymara is not able to save Bogota because he decides to support the move there instead of tapping Panama. But I do get Cartagena back and avoid a bit of disaster.
You go positive in the you get Remobo and Cartagena and only lose one, I think.
Yep. Yeah, no, as a result of that, I actually go positive in the Caribbean. Which means I think I actually might even get a build.
Yeah, because you're getting popped in the...
Yeah.
And you can just...
So I think... Yeah, no, the Caribbean is here to stay. And once again, my good friend Oot has blatantly lied to me.
To be fair, he did not want to do this, but this was what we thought we had to do to get Portugal over the line. Portugal went well more above the line than we were expecting him to. I'll say that too. Like,
oh, what a surprise!
We could have actually won the game if Portugal would have given like Athapasca and you 1 dot each instead of taking like a ton for himself. But another thing.
I couldn't imagine Portugal doing something like that. That's not at all inconsistent with his behavior this entire game.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that Oot was at least hesitant to shamelessly lie to me this time. We'll see if his behavior changes in the future. Needless to say, I am absolutely going to be building more units in the Caribbean and reiterating my commitment to not giving a sixpence to him.
All right. Here we go on to winner builds.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh my Nelly. Would have been really funny if I put down a fleet here.
Oh my dude, I would have been so pissed.
It would have been funny.
It would have
been
so
and
pissed.
there's no dot I can snipe even. Like,
yeah, exactly. I have Oriental here to cover like Fusan and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't grab, and yeah, you built, so I couldn't grab Kyushu or something. Would have been hilarious to build a fleet here. I'll say it would have been hilarious. It would have been a terrible strategic decision, but it would have been hilarious. No, from here, this is where I really start twisting and trying to get Canadian to let me into Lanzhou. I think in fall I had actually like gotten you to say yes, you can take Lanzhou next year if it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well, it makes sense now. Can I have Lanzhou? And you say I'll think about it, and you wait until the very end. And then say no, you can have Hanoi instead. I believe is the discussion on this phase. Before moves go through. I assume there was no actual thinking going on about Lanzhou.
No. I was, I yeah, what was it? I would need to see moves again before I talk about it a bit more, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was definitely, I definitely think like, I think you're, yeah, we'll talk about it more in moves, I guess.
I was
Yeah.
not planning on giving you Lanzo because, like I said, this is my path to walk this unit in, and I also
I,
did not want you in here because I have a very nice front line here, not having to worry about you moving up because I'm always covering Ho-Hot every other, because like when this one covers Ho-Hot, it's empty for half a turn or
yeah,
one season because this army comes in, it backfills. As this one goes to Shenjing, the army in Hohots and Lanzhou, and then that one comes in and backfills. And I'm planning on having that the entire game, like a train of units just running this way, all the way as west in Asia as I can go. So like you having Lanzhou would make me go to Gobi and stuff, and it would make me want to keep a line here because now I don't want you to ever have the stab on me to go to Gobi and then get into all this and start working with Athapaska. So I was just like, I do not like. I want you to go funnel down this way so we can break in that way while I push in the middle. Athapaska comes over the top. So I was like
yeah,
very against that.
but can you zoom in on the color of that little dot in the middle of Lanzhou? Can you scroll in, and you might notice that it's actually not teal at all.
That's even worse for me because now if you go B, you can build here. So I was like worried, but yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
say
I mean,
more.
yeah, the game's gonna go on a lot more turns past this, so I understand. Yeah.
Uh, okay. Do you go to Hoha here? No, you
No, I
go.
don't. You do. I am
Here.
actually a little worried during this phase, because you start talk like you're talking. I ask you about like moving to Lanzhou,
Yeah.
and then you start talking about like, oh, I'm okay if you want to like move to Zili to like for stab prevention. And frankly, the fact that you like brought up stab prevention like made me a little worried. Because
Uh,
usually at this stage of a vassal relationship, the overlord does not even like really think about the vassals like what they're thinking about. It's not really necessary, and you like start thinking about so much.
That's right. Because I thought you were worried that I was gonna stab you, and that's why you wanted to go to Hoha to like
No, I
bounce.
just wanted Lanzhou. I wasn't worried about a
To
stab.
make sure
I
like
just
I
wanted
couldn't walk
Lanzhou.
into both, and that's where I was like, oh, he's worried about that. So like, why does he care about Lanza, right? Like I'm
Because it's
offering him
not
like
there.
Hanoa or some other dots down here. I'm like, why does he want this one so much? And I was like, oh, is it because like he's worried I'm gonna stab him? Like if you want to stop that, like you can just bounce me here. I don't care because I'm going to Hohot and
Yeah,
like
the entire reason was
or
just I
no,
wanted
I'm
to get
going to
all my cores
Hohot
back.
this way, and like if you want to walk into
Yeah.
Lanza and walk back, that's fine because I'm gonna have an army there to
Mhm.
cover Shenjing anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, honestly, like seeing you talk about stab prevention, like it kind of blew my set off an alarm in my head a little bit. I hearing your reaction now, like that makes a lot of sense what you thought I was thinking, but no, I literally just was like, this game would be amazing if after all that I managed to get back into all my main course. That was the entire thought process. Yeah.
Yeah. This actually I remember I was I'll say it after moves. But yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
Alright, so me. I build two here to be able to kick out you if I need. Build an army here, convoy it down into Ayutthaya, start working my way up there. Another fleet because I need another fleet. Why do I not build? I guess I'm just already so 1-8. Don't really need the extra army. I'm fine with just this one.
Mhm.
And yeah, Dutch disbands, almost all that. So I have like a pretty, I think, Ayutthaya here. I did set up this so like Ute just supports me and I can support myself in, and we actually finally get a guarantee on Ayutthaya this turn. Here I think I was actually oh yeah. I was very much looking into this one. I was like, there's so many little funky moves that Dutch could do here to screw me up. Like, and there's so many different ways I could do this. I was always gonna get one, but I was like I really wanted to get both this turn. And I was like, if he does like weird moves, like he could go Sambos to Sarawak and support that and bounce like Celibus C out if I try to move to Celibus C. So like maybe I support Sulu down and bring Cebu out, but if he bounces Sulu, then I still only have 2. Like I can't cut the support. Maybe if I go like Benjissaman up, but maybe he goes Kodabatu to Sarawak, and then that doesn't work. So maybe I should go Sulu to Kodabatu to stop the Sarawak move there, but then that doesn't. So there was like a lot of little things there, and I even asked my allies. I was like, "What would you do if you were Dutch in this position? Like, what? You have so few units, but like, there's so many weird little defenses you could give to save a army or 1 dot here." So I can't remember what I actually end up going for, but that was what I was worried about there. Ute has got this. We are gonna like take Ajuran's thing again. He has told me, he sent me his whole move set. He's going like Holland to Inno. He's going like Gulu to maybe Timor, New Holland, but he is sending his units back this way to start attacking Portugal. He's like going for Sumatra and stuff. So I was like, yeah, that's all good with me. I tell Ute, I'm like, he's leaving Gulu, so you can just walk straight in and you'll get in. He's like, all right, I'll do that. Yeah, same stuff. I'll go Tasnica.
All right, so yeah, Europe has 3 centers and 3 units. Africa is dead. The Caribbean, I have a build. Ute's like, hey Taz, where are you building? And I'm like, I'm building a fleet in Cap Haitian. I am going to take Jamaica. I'm going to fiercely guard every single center I have. If you give me space, I'll have a dozen units that can help you out against Portugal. A Portugal who's getting ridiculously strong in multiple continents and multiple oceans. Alternatively, if you keep lying to me, I'm going to be the world's biggest pain in the ass. Please be my friend. I want to be your friend. We will see in moves whether Ute decides that he wants to be my friend or not. But basically, every time he lies to me, I get a bit blunter in press. Because we've been just super friendly the entire game, but then as soon as he starts getting close to me, I'm getting leaks every single turn that he's asking people to stab me. He's not making supports that he's saying he's going to make, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of just proportionally shift my tone until I can hopefully find that sweet spot that gets the desired result, right? There's kind of a sweet spot with every player, and we'll see if I ever find it with Ute.
All right, we'll go to
1653.
16.
We are planning for the long term, but not that long term.
Yeah.
All right, so there we go.
So I do convince I convinced Toku to let me into Hanoi. I'm sure you'll talk about this more. But I like this moveset a lot because again, Mughals are definitely working under the assumption that you're being greedy. The moveset isn't gonna Hanoi isn't a reasonable place for me to go. So I can get some more backfilling going. Theoretically, I guess I could have gone to Lansang here, but that would have been a little bit crazy.
You have? Or Lan
Lan, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I was happy to predict this. I know we were talking about this and we predicted that this Lan Na unit was going to move down to Lansang, so you didn't bounce it or try to get in.
Yeah.
I was happy to see that. But yeah, we didn't want to put all the eggs in one basket and go to Lan Na. Although it might have... Could we have done something if we did that? Does it make any tactics possible that weren't here?
I think that's why you didn't go to Lan Na, because we were like, even if you get in, you still can't do anything, because they would tap you if you try to use it. Or no, they would cover...
no, wait. Do we have
or you just wanted Hanoi.
No, I did just want Hanoi. I'm just like, okay, just like bear with me for a second. I'm looking at the tactics. I'm wondering if do we have a coin flip on Ava and Chiang Mai if I'm in Lan Na? Or no? Because you could tap Bamo. No, if you support Ava and yeah, we don't.
Yeah, they just have too many armies.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have too many armies. Yeah.
And you wanted a dot, and I was
I
like,
did want a dot.
and I was like, this gets more army units on the front line.
Mhm.
I want to like start shifting down fleets anyway. I remember at this point though, because you were like trying to push so hard for Lanzhou, and now I'm going down. It really actually did make me want to stab, even before
Really?
like what happens. Yeah, I was like, I'd say it was like 60%. I was gonna stab you back for Hanoi here, but I was not sure. I was like very, very conflicted. But I was like, man, he's really trying to like break out here. I don't know like how much more I'm gonna get out of Ming if he's like trying to get my own dots. Like I need you to help me get dots for this vassalship to be good. And if like I'm losing dots to you, that's just like so silly at this point of the game. But
Yeah.
also, like I said, I have this agreement with again I have this agreement with them, and I'm like already 5 above. Like I'm already above them. I'm already going up. Like I have IU guaranteed. I knew I was gonna get at least one Dutch dot. I could have got two. I knew I was getting like something else. So I was like, I could let you take dots off me. Like that's not a horrible thing. It keeps our front good here. It keeps my threat level a little lower. Like I keep working with you. I like working with you. I want you to do good in the game because you have been very helpful to me the whole time. And I'm like, I'm in
Yeah.
a position where I can do nice things and like not shoot my own game in the foot. So I was
Mhm.
that, but like I don't know. I remember
I
thinking like
definitely,
I want to be in a
yeah,
position to stab you back here just in case, or not stab
I
you back, but
definitely did think like when I was thinking through, like when I was talking about Lanzo, I was definitely like, I'm pushing way too hard on Lanzo.
yeah,
Like from a tactical position, me getting Hanoi is fine. Again, the only reason I was actually pushing so hard on Lanzo was again, it's my core. I would have loved to end up in all my cores. That was again the only reason I was doing it so hard.
yeah,
Um, but like I definitely thought like, okay, he's in that position, he's really far ahead. Um, if we did come to a war, he still has me like very well beat.
mhm.
So I can probably like get a dot off him, and maybe he stabs me, maybe he doesn't. Um,
Yeah, I feel like you need to get like Macau or something instead and core it and be like, okay, this is new China.
yeah,
Sort of
yeah. I
something that's
think
more
yeah,
stable for your relationship.
yeah. I think what I should have done instead of when you were like no Lanzhou, I should have said, well, what if instead you let me into Hanoi and then also Hainan and then also Macau? What if we did that?
That's way too much, man. Like I was at the point where
Yeah,
like
no,
this is such a
yeah,
it's kind of mean, but it's like this is such a power imbalance that for me
yeah,
to keep you alive, like the thing I want in return is you getting me dots. For me not to just
yeah,
like drop the hammer on you and just end your game, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was still like not 50. I was slightly leaning towards the stab, but again, I wanted to see like the turn. I wanted to see how many dots I was getting, what the position
Mhm.
looked like, how far ahead I was going to be ahead of them before I like made the decision. But again, I was like, ugh, I really don't. I think even after Hanoi, you like still kind of wanted to. You're still like, oh, maybe Lanzu, or I can't
Yeah,
remember, but
again,
I was like, I
me
do not
pushing
want
so hard
you.
for Lanzhou
Yeah,
was a blunder, but I definitely did think the game was gonna end
yeah.
like very soon, and I was like, I mean, like the game could end as early as like the end of this turn. Um, I have goodwill with Toku. I'm not gonna get a chance to use it after the game.
Mhm.
Um, and like me trying to get a few extra dots is not gonna like he's not gonna like be like, oh fuck Ming, like in the next game. He tried to get a few more dots and tried to improve his position a little
Yeah.
at the very end. So I thought it was low stakes really, because I definitely at this stage I'm not dying at the
Mhm.
very least. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moves everywhere else. I get Safavid to support me in the Rinpungpa because obviously Safavid's my best friend since day one. We've been working together very close. But they support me in their Rinpungpa, and I say we're gonna support you into Bamo. I can't remember if you were gonna do it or I was gonna do it, but we're getting you into Bamo. Like I want to break this position. I also am fine with you getting in the win, Safavid. Like you're only 8 away. Had great press all game. If you can get there, I'm good. I think they were like, "Oh, can you leave Zizan alone and Uyghur or something?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll back out of both of those," and I just pushed forward and. But yeah, against IU, just full blown mobilization. Obviously going for the attack here, but just trying to get all the fleets into position to eventually get to Indian Ocean, even though it's going to be a long time. But also keeping them in position to take back Hanoi if I think I need to. Getting another army there to I think I was originally going to go Hanoi with it, but then since you were there, like the long-term plan, if I didn't stab, was going to be to convoy it into Phan Rang. Well, Phan Rang goes to Lansing, or does it? Maybe it would go. Can't remember now. This is why I think I was like leaning towards the stab, because it was just like not the tactics were like becoming suboptimal to try and like give you dots instead of just like push everything as forward as fast as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, north, yeah, just backfilling. Athabasca pushing here. Again, just adding more units into the theater. Ute sticks to the deal, goes to the sea. Now, what is this? Athabasca is coming up to the ocean, and this is something I never wanted to see. And this is something I didn't want him to, I told him at the beginning of the turn, what was it? We came to I talked about the deal, like, hey, I don't want two or more units, 2 units from you guys max in the ocean. And Ute and him both told me, like, hey, we really want to get to the sea. Like, Ute is gonna go to he's gonna go to one, I wanna go to one, and then Ute needs to use one to get out of Edo. And I was like, well, shit, like I really don't like this idea. I was gonna initially offer to bounce him in Kuril Sea, and I was gonna want to do that for the rest of the game, again, to just pin our units in place, because I don't want him to have fleets in this ocean. I also need this ocean as like a highway myself, because I've been, even though I like don't really need the tempo, I've been killing my tempo this whole game by like supporting my own fleets into my own spots, risking bounces to try and keep the peace and keep the empty center, keep the deal with Ute. And now like you're trying to get in here and like get the tempo boost. I was like, oh, and that again that leaves the three units to hit me in Edo. And again, I saw this fleet in Chukchis, and I was like, well, where's Chukchis going? Like, if this comes down to Karanginsky now, you're just going to send more fleets? And he's like, no, that's going up to Chukchis Sea. So I was like, okay. I don't want to over push my bounds, because these two can really like attack me and ruin my game if I like piss them off. So I was like, okay, like you can go to Pacific Ocean, and I didn't tell him I did this move, but I was like, I'm gonna go here anyway. And then like if they do attack me, I could go there, or I can ask for a bounce or something. Like it just gives me a little bit more defensive position, and I was going there anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll let you go in there. Like I've been working with you both. I trust you both. Like I don't know. Athabasca has been here the whole time above me. I've been scared every turn he's gonna convoy into me and attack me, and he never does. Ute has been telling me the truth on like every single move for like the last 8 years or so. I've been telling them both the truth on like everything. So I was like, fine, you can go into the ocean. Like I'll let you break the deal, and I'll take the risk. I'm gonna move both my fleets down. I get into position to cover Kyushu and move Osaka up, because I want to have supports on this just in case I ever do feel like they're gonna stab me. Dutch again does not move at all. So I get the full 4 units on both, or I get 4 units around them completely, and can guarantee both of these centers. So that's again, I was like, wow, man.
Just really tapped out. Like, they could have bounced into Tuna, or
I sat here thinking so long on all the little different tactics these 2 units could do, and they end up doing nothing. That was like the one thing I didn't think that they'd do. But yeah, I got both of these guaranteed, so I was like, nice. I got 2 guaranteed. I got 3 guaranteed. Ming is taking me down 1, so that's gonna be like +2. I got my Ito back, so that's like +3. I got into both of these I got into both of these tiles, and I got into South Atlantic Ocean here because I get a support from myself. So that I have a reach here. I don't get into there. I tapped the wrong one. This is also a mistake. I can't remember. I know Azeron told me he's gonna do something, and we changed the orders up a bit. And I knew I should have went to in 01, but I just went there for some reason. This was a bad move though. I knew in 01 was like more likely to be open, and I didn't go for it. And I knew I was contacting Azeron, so like we knew this was a possible, but that he was gonna bounce out. That was bad. I move into there. I'm still in position to stab for like Batavia, and I get in position here to keep pushing out. Um, I help support Azeron because Azeron wants support against Portugal, and I'm like, sure, we can do that. I get into position Southern Sea to hit Cape Co, and that also follows up nicely with the move in SAO because they both connect there, and we try to put Azeron in there so we can get 4 support on it, but he gets bounced out, and I think that's why that's a bad move. Yeah, I remember when I first. I'll talk a bit more about it on the clean. Yeah, I remember initially looking, I was like, yeah, pretty good. Like, I'm probably gonna go up. Like, I have opportunities to stab a bit here, but yeah. Tasnica.
All right, Polish Europe. Polish Europe is screwed. Um, all of my neighbors are fighting each other over my dots, but my position is so weak that I can't really exploit it. So let's see here. Sweden takes Warsaw from me, and um, Safavid takes Ochaki from Austria, and Austria takes Jassy from me. Smyrna is still open. Austria is getting more units into Safavid's face, which again is probably a smart move on Austria's part, given that there's no way both of them are going to win this game. And Austria really needs to make something happen if they want to become a blocker themselves. Interestingly, Austria's attack on Ruthenia means that I can retreat into Krakow. So I actually do still have one unit that can be in a center after this turn, but everything else in Europe is pretty doomed. Africa continues getting painted green in my absence. The Caribbean. Oot finally does what he says he was going to do. He just bounces himself in Honduras, starts moving fleets out into the Atlantic. So I guess I finally found just the right amount of hardlineness for him to chill out with me and actually hold true to his agreements. Again, not that I'm giving him a whole ton of choice. I'm supporting the heck out of things, taking very few risks in my moves, basically turning the Caribbean into a fortress and being like, I will side with whoever leaves me the most alone. But yeah, I'm set up to take Jamaica and fall. And what else is going on? Bogota is destroyed. Aymara convoys Oot into Bogota. And with me covering Orinoco, that Portuguese army is gone. So the scary Portugal is slightly less overwhelming in South America, though as we can see elsewhere, he is getting quite a few units into the region anyway, including a convoy all the way from Cabo Verde right into the middle of Guarani.
Yeah.
So very scary position still. 71 center Portugal is no joke. But a good turn for me in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Do you mind if I actually start this one? Because I feel like
I was gonna ask if you could start this one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'll kind of walk through my immediate thought process after like looking at the moves and seeing the map. So after moves come in, I always like to go to Ute and Atha like immediately and talk about things like minutes after it drops. Like when a map drops, first things I look at are, do my allies stab me? So I look at if Ute and Atha stab me, and I go, no, they didn't. That looks good. And then I start looking at everything else that I did and like what went successful and not. Immediately after that, I go to them on like the obvious moves, and I go, oh sweet, you got into this, or we got into this, or oh look, I got into this. Like I just start talking about all the cool things we did this turn, without actually like analyzing the map super deep. I just look at it. Couple minutes, the most basic things like, oh sweet, you got into Gulu, got into all this. Oh look, man, I've got such a cool position. I've got North Pacific, I got fleets in North Pacific, South Atlantic, Indian Ocean. The only ocean I don't have is like North Atlantic. Wouldn't it be cool if I like somehow moved a fleet up into North Atlantic and had a fleet in every ocean in the game? Like that would be another fun little side goal I could do. That was like the first thoughts I was looking at after this move turn flipped. And then like we got into talking about like how many dots we're gonna look at. Like I said, I was like, okay, I got Ayutthaya guaranteed. Gonna get 2 Dutch dots guaranteed. And I was telling them both this like fully. I was like, I'm giving 1 to Ming, so that's gonna be -1. I'm getting Rinpungpa, so I'm probably +3. And then I mentioned to them that like I was planning on hitting Cape Ko with Ajuran, but that one's not very sure. And then Athapaska and I are still looking at like hitting Yarkand and Turkestan, but I was like, I don't know, like this isn't guaranteed anymore, so I maybe want to support myself into like Sangpa and stuff and get 4 units on this before we push. So we'll figure that out later. But I look a little deeper and I was like, okay, Ajuran's also leaving Batavia here, and like Ajuran tells me everything he's gonna do. So like if I want to stab Batavia or stab Sumatra, like these are options too, right? And I don't have to give back 1 to Ming. So like I could go like +5 here, +6, +7. And I was like, I have 3 fleets here. Like what if I actually go for a Ute stab? I could take how many from Ute? I can go Gulu with these 2. I can support myself into Warwick. I can. Oh, look, Klo is also gonna kind of be undefended because Klo is not gonna expect me to attack. I have a fleet in NPO, and Ute has left these islands open multiple times throughout the game, especially Galapagos. Like almost the entire game, Galapagos has been uncovered. So I could like maybe walk into that. I have this fleet next to Koryax here, Kuril Sea, and Athapaska and Ute both trust me a lot. Like, I don't think they're gonna think I'm gonna walk into that. I also have Hohot here that can walk into Peking. I should have a shot on Yarkand. I have the shot on Cape Ko. What else did I have the shot? And then I felt like this fleet could go, and I was like, oh my god, like, I actually have a solo position here. I can go fuck. I have like 10 dots. I feel like I can get guaranteed, and I'm already in the start. And I was like, I immediately start doing the math like 20 minutes after I realized, or like 20 minutes into the phase, I was like, okay, 47 dots is like what I'm thinking is like a minimum. And then I have like a few, like 4 different gambles, and I feel like I can get up to 51. So I immediately go to Portugal's position, and I start counting up all his dots because I think Portugal is going to be the one I have to get it past. And it's going to be hard to get past him because I feel like he's going up a lot this turn. He's got this big stab on Ajuran where he's got like I feel like he's going to get like Bunyaro. He's been Abyssinia has been working against Ajuran the whole time, so I'm feeling like Abyssinia might help. I'm not going to go into all the tactics, but I remember I wrote all down this stuff all down. And Portugal, in a very bad estimate, I thought he was going to be at worst 71, and in a very good estimate, he was going to be at like 79. But I thought the most likely numbers were going to be like 73 to 76 or something he was going to be on. I should show the, yeah, that is there. And I knew what I had to be at on every number that he was going to be on. I had like 47 would have beat 73 and below, 48 would have beat like 75 and below, 49 would have beat 70, something like that. So I was very locked into like what exact number I needed to do to beat Portugal. And I was very 50-50 on if I could do it or not, because a lot of the things that he had were gambles, and I also had a few gambles. So I was like, dude, even if I fail here, like even if I get to 47 and he somehow blocks me by like a couple percent, like what position am I going to be in? I'm going to own like all this stuff. I'm gonna have like 10 different builds in every single core. I'm gonna have like how can I not go for the attack on everyone here? Like even if I fail, I'm gonna be in a super strong position. And if they get scared and I don't go for this, then I'm just gonna kind of be in a worse position. So I decided like I figured out my moves and I punched in the moveset like probably 30 minutes after the map came, and I was like 100% locked in. I'm just gonna go for this solo. Like, I'm gonna attempt it. This is a high level game, competitive game. It would be an injustice to not go for this when I see the opportunity. So I figure out I'm gonna go for Yarkand here. Originally I was gonna cover Bratsk, and then I talked to Athapaska throughout the turn until like the last day, and he was making me feel very comfortable, and I was gonna leave Bratsk unopened, but then the last like day or so, things started coming in that Athapaska did not trust me anymore, so I decided like I was gonna go Krasnoyarsk to Bratsk, and then 2 meds up, because in the alternative, I wanted to keep Bratsk open and get a build there, but I thought that would be too risky in case Athapaska did go down. When it first flipped, I didn't think they were going to be suspicious of me at all. But everyone in this game is a smart player, and they can all see the position I got here, and people knew what was up. But yeah, I plan to support Safavid into Bamo here because that wasn't our agreement. And also, if this fails and the next year happens, I would rather have one less unit on my border in Rinpungpa here, so getting him into Bamo, it makes me a little bit safer. I do try to get Athapaska to hit Turkestan at this point. I try to do this super subtly too. Like I tell him the entire thing, like, "Hey, I'm probably just going to Sangpa. I don't even think we can get Yarkan. This is probably not going to work, but if you do, like if you think that's a good move, let me know and I'll hit Yarkan too, and we'll go for it." And he played it off very well. Like, he kept me on the line till the end. Like, oh, maybe not. I don't think we should go for it. But he was very aware. Like, I wanted him to cut that so I could have a better shot at Yarkan. Um, yeah, I think I talked about most of this stuff. Like, I just gotta stab everyone here. I was looking at maybe going to stab Ute to get him one lower, but I didn't think he was going to be high enough to block me because I'm going to be taking like multiple of his centers here. So I knew he was going to get knocked down. Yeah, I tie guaranteed. What else? We should go to Ming for a bit here. What were you thinking at this point?
Well, yeah, so I mean, I was kind of checked out. Like I have this kind of like I've been thinking about what I'm going to say in my head, and it kind of leads up to the turn flipping. So, because there is a little bit of drama here. There's a little bit of intrigue. So maybe we could go to Taz first.
Sure.
Go to me? All right. So I was not seriously considering a Toku solo run until Athapaska came to me and started pointing out all these little details and expressing concerns. And I was very torn about this. On the one hand, I really like Athapaska and want him to win the game. He's been a really good pen pal throughout. On the other hand, Toku has also been a really good pen pal and person to talk with. And more importantly, a Toku solo means that Portugal doesn't win, Sweden doesn't win, Safavid doesn't win, and Austria doesn't win, guaranteed. So the only people who are actually suffering are Atha and kind of Oot. I'm kind of like neutral-ish on Oot at this point. We have like just finally kind of gotten back on the same page again, but I'm not super thrilled about the last couple years, so I'm not like going out of my way to save his game.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what I decide to do is I decide to keep being helpful with Atha, being like, oh yeah, this is possible. Yeah, maybe might be worth taking these precautions here and there. And with everyone else, just go full sabotage mode and see if I can make this Tokugawa solo happen. So with Oot, like, I like tell him, no, there's no way Toku's gonna do it. This would be trouble. This would be trouble. Here are the reasons why Portugal is the bigger threat. So on and so forth. Meanwhile, I go to Austria, who is the lowest of the 3 European regionals. And I'm like, hey, you need to catch up with these guys. You need to surpass them, because it's going to be a miracle if even one of the 3 of you makes it. No way it's going to be all 3. And right now, you're the chump. So here are the things you can do against Safavid. Hey, let's make a deal for Sweden. I want my capital back. Support me into Warsaw, tap Gdansk, backfill Krakow, and I'll try to nudge Sweden toward making moves that makes that possible. If you do that and leave Smyrna alone, but tell Spain you're taking it so that he doesn't walk in, I'll help you out this year and next year against Sweden. And Austria agrees to this. He agrees to leave Smyrna alone, focus on Safavid in the south, and to help me get my capital back in the north as part of a push against Sweden, to try to surpass the other 2. So we'll see whether he actually does it or not. But my hope is that all 3 of them will end up outside of blocking range, and that this Tokugawa solo threat manifests. And if it doesn't, hey, I still get Warsaw and Smyrna, so better than I was expecting anyway. And in the Caribbean, basically, I'm just like, I am taking Jamaica and defending all of my stuff. Oot, yeah. I'm really worried about Portugal. Keep pushing against Portugal. If you give me the space that you're promising, I will send like half a dozen fleets after him next turn to help you boot him out of the Atlantic and make sure that he never becomes the solo threat that you should be worried about right now.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit checked out of the game, or the wider game at this point. Like, again, other people are more locked in besides me, so they'll let me know if there's something I need to do. So I'm not really like concerned about a Toku stab. I definitely was like a little worried I'd pushed too hard on Lanzo. Definitely I could tell I had done that. So I was a little bit worried. And then when I was like, Hanoi can be gotten back, that's scary. So there was a little bit of worry there, especially with that talk of preventing stab with the Zilli. But I'm not too concerned. I'm still just thinking of Mughal tactics. And then I get a message from Safovitz telling me Toku's about to stab. Toku's got to win here. He's got to win. And he's got a solo. And he's telling me, besides this, is that it's like me and I'm reaching out to you on behalf of Athapasca. And so I was a little shocked. I was like kind of like looking around the map and I'm reading it and I'm like, yeah, I can see it. And I wasn't tapped in even enough to know that like Ajuran was fully like vassalized and you could get a throw out of it. So I was like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm like looking at the map. I'm like, okay, I can see him +5. Like he never gets Batavia. Like these things can't go to him. But then, so you ask me like, I think later in the phase you come to me and like, has anyone reached out to you? And definitely that's starting to set off a little more alarm bells. And then I'm like, yeah, Safavids have. But I specifically like don't mention Atha because I don't want to like I especially am like if he is stabbing, I don't want to make him worried about Bratz because like if he is stabbing, I'm hoping that Atha will be able to walk into Bratz. So I don't want
Yeah.
to like give away that Atha is involved in this. So let you know Saf's telling me that. And then but also Atha doesn't reach out to me directly. So I don't actually know if Atha's involved. And then later, Portugal reaches out to me and is like, "Yeah, Azuren's really pissed about my stab. He's throwing like Toku can get all these dots." And I'm like, "Okay, I can see that." But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, "Okay, so Safs in Portugal are the people that are reaching out to me about this. Like they could be right, but also assuming that this war like goes on a little bit longer, like assuming the game doesn't end here and Toku doesn't stab me, if that's what happens." They're our main rivals, like come 1 year, 2 years from now. So it would make sense for them to want to cause chaos in here so that Portugal can get armies into Southeast Asia so they can get Ava, so they can get Pegu. It would just make sense on their end. And that's what I'm kind of worried about. And so I asked Portugal, is Oot involved in this? And Portugal tells me yes. So I then go over to Oot and we have this final conversation here where I'm like, hey, I've been hearing about this Toku solo. What do you think of it? And I think we kind of like mutually talked each other into complacency, which is so lucky for you. If I'd reached out to if Ath had reached out to me, or I'd decided I actually do want to set up that Ath chat,
Mhm.
I definitely do it. But we kind of talk and we're going back and forth, and Ute mentions that you had talked to them about trying to get me in the top 10.
Yeah.
Which is something that I had talked to you. It was like my little, it wasn't like Lanzhou. Like this was something you were much more receptive on. Like that this is like one of my little hopes that I'd get into the top 10, that it'd be really cool for me to do that. And the fact that you had mentioned it to him just seemed really odd to me.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't really like there's definitely a part of me that just didn't want to believe that you were stabbing. Um that I didn't want to believe that you were stabbing me, definitely. And there was also the part of me that's thinking, okay, so what are my options here? So let's assume the world that happens is I don't protect and Canadian stabs me. Well, like I've been a good vassal. Like at the end of the day, Canadian is either gonna win off that or he's gonna not win. But I mean, he's probably not gonna finish me off. Like he's gonna get coalition. There's gonna be a people come together to stop him, and there's gonna be an impunity, and he's probably not gonna finish me off. So if I don't block the stab that's coming, that's fine. Um, if he is stabbing and I stop him, I mean that's a fine scenario. He's not going to disrespect me for noticing that he's stabbing. Um, if neither of us is stabbing, if like he's not stabbing and I don't protect, that's also fine. We just do what we talked about. But what I'm really worried about is that you're not stabbing me and then I'm like doing the defensive moves. I'm doing all the things to like what I do in a world where I'm protecting against you and like trying to maximize my score in this turn specifically.
Mhm.
And that's like really fucking me up because I'm thinking like if we have this alliance that goes on this whole time and then I mess it up in like this year, Mughals are still relatively strong. Like in this region, not only is there the emotional impact of that, but like Mughals aren't dead yet. So and Mughals are absolutely going to take that flip deal from you. Um, and also like I mean again it's the emotional thing. I didn't want to have to deal with that reality.
Yeah.
Which is one part. And then alongside that Ute that you telling me that you'd mentioned the top 10 dream, I kind of I decide not to do it. And so what I leave on the table is I leave the move set Chengdu bounces Peking. Guangzhou goes to uh, Macau, supported by Hu Guang, and Kunming moves up to Ringpao with support from Bhutan that Safavitz offered me. And that is the moveset that I leave on the table. I do not take it. Yeah. And that's my spiel until we get to moves.
Yeah, nice. What should I even say? Where do I even start? I can't remember where I even left off. Yeah, that's so after like I decided to do this stab, I don't know, I'm very good at like keeping my mind able to like just uh go with like multiple plans and like really have like confidence in that. I feel like right when I figured out I was gonna do this, I immediately just switched my mindset back to like I'm just gonna pretend like I'm continuing on with this plan. I don't want to act suspicious and like start acting different, so I'm just gonna like pretend I'm still working with Atha and Ute. I'm not stabbing them here. I'm taking the 4 dots I want. I'm giving them to you. I want you to win in the top 10. Like when Ute comes to me and talks, I should say at first like they were not suspicious at all. Like the very first day the vibes were exactly the same as they've been all game. We're all friendly, we're all chatting, we're all like, yeah, we're doing great, we're all gonna win together. And then the next day, Athapaska messages me and he looks at the curl C move and he's like, what's this? And I was like, well, I was just gonna bounce you and Koryax the whole time, and like, I just put that move in for defense because like that's just what I was gonna
Yeah.
do anyway. And he's like, oh, that scares me so much. And I was like, okay, he's scared a bit. And then as like the turn goes on, I start getting more people talk to me. And Safavid, I think, comes to me and they're like, hey, Athapaska's worried that you're gonna go for a stab. And I was like, what? Like, that's kind of odd. Like, obviously I knew I'm going for the stab, but if I am trying to play it off like, huh, like we're a tight alliance. Like I'm going for this thing. I think you came to me and you're like Atha and you or something. You also comes to me and he's like, man, like Athapaska is super worried you're gonna go for a stab here, but I just don't see it. I'm like, dude, I would not go for a stab. Like you guys, I've been working with you both all game. Like it would just make me feel like shit to stab you both. And I can't remember. There was even something like I was just so locked into like faking it that he was like, well, what would make you go for a solo? And I was like, if people agreed to throw to me, like I would just take it. Like I'm not gonna not accept a throw if people just want the game to end this year. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just told him
Yeah.
that straight up. Like if people throw to me, I'll take it. But other than that, like I'm gonna win with you guys, and that's it. Like I like you guys. I like Ming. I want Ming. I think that's exactly where that came up because it was in a conversation about like me soloing. Whereas like I like you both and I like Ming and I want like you all three to do well. I want us all to have a fun. Like obviously he's not gonna win, but I don't want to stab him here. Like he's been good to me all game. I wanted to reward him with this. Like I want you guys to do good. Like let's just do it. And he believes me. And I feel like this this isn't even it's not like super bad because it's hard to explain when you're just doing like a recap, but these games are like 3 months long. And I am talking to you and you pretty much like every single day, multiple times a day through like text and shit, checking in, seeing how you guys
Yeah.
are doing, seeing this. I've lied to you like 2 3 times throughout this game, but like 99, maybe not 99, almost the vast majority of the things I tell you are always true. Like the info I give you is always true. Not always, again, very very vast majority of the time. The long-term strategy goals I tell you are like almost always true. Any press that I tell you I've heard is almost always true. Every time I give you a move on the map, it's always right. And same with you, even to like a further extent, because I never stabbed him up into this point, and I was giving him like every single move that was relevant to him in the entire area, telling him the truth every single time for 3 months, telling him like just proper info, proper like everything that I was doing was always adding up. So it's hard. I feel like it's very hard just to pivot on like the last day where it's like this guy who's been telling you the truth for 3 months straight is now just gonna stab you in the back, and like you have to stab him before he stabs you. It's like not as
Yeah.
easy as just looking at the board and
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what I was thinking as well. I'm thinking like, okay, Canadians like at this point, me and Canadian barely even talk about the board anymore. Like he's like we're not really I haven't been thinking about personally like getting stabbed by him in like so long. I'd felt confident enough that he's not gonna stab me that I can like be kind of really pushy on land. So and like he's been there, like he saw me at the start and like was there for my like collapse and then the slow return, and like he's probably like invested in that story as well as I am. Like you spend so much time in these games that you just
And honestly, that's why I was able to just like keep it up. Because honestly, if I didn't have the solo path, that's 100% just the other path. That was the original path I was going down the whole game. So it was easy for me to just like continue operating like I have been the whole game.
Mhm.
And yeah, but
And
at the
Canadian,
path. Oh, do you want to say?
oh, I was gonna say, were we talking at all? I mean, we were talking, but I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, so the
Did we even
one
like
thing that
talk
we
about the
talked
whole?
about was you were offering me support into like SAO, which I wasn't gonna take, but I was even like reaching out to that's how far it goes. I was reaching out to like Poland to be like, hey, can you give me a support to SAO because I want to like keep going after Portugal here, just in case like you talk to Ute or something, and that you mentioned to him like, oh yeah, Tokugawa's going out to SAO. And then, like, I was just trying to get it in everyone's ear all over the map that, like, I am just sticking to the plan. I'm doing everything that you would expect me to do if I was just sticking to the plan. Um, but Athapaska, throughout the turn, obviously, I just kept getting this info that he was super suspicious of me, and I could also just get it on the vibes of the press. Like, for the most part of the game, we're always discussing like every little move, like what we're gonna do here, what we're gonna do next. And for the entire phase, they did not ask me like how we're gonna go into SPO 1, 2, and 3, or like what these fleets are doing, what my fleet is doing here. And I was just like, dude, they do not like they are doing something else with these fleets than like what I'm gonna think. And I asked them on like the final day, like, so what do you guys want to do with these fleets? Like, I'll go. And obviously, I'm setting up a stab here, so I'm trying to get them. I need one of these fleets to support. I think I use SPO3 to support. So I was like, I'm gonna go to SPO3, and you guys can go backfill the other two fleets that I'm planning on like sending into Utes territory anyway. I was like, is that cool with you? And they both just gave me like such a short, like, yep, I'll go to this one. Is that good with you? Yep. And I was like, that's just not how we've been communicating this whole game. And they were just like a little, not Ute as much, but Athapaska, Ute too, just, but not as much. I could just tell he did not trust me and he was like very suspicious of me this turn, plus everything else. So on the final day, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I feel like it's 50-50 whether I'm going to solo or not. I'm not super confident. Again, I think Portugal has like multiple chances on things to get there. I don't. When I'm looking at which dots I'm very confident in, it changed. Like things like Cotabato, Sambas, and Ayutthaya was like it's almost these ones are 100%. Ayutthaya is like 99%. Honestly, I was considering the Ming stab to be like 98. Like I was so confident you were not going to cover this. When you told me, or when you guys were talking after the game, and you mentioned you actually had a counter stab, I was like, no way, dude. Like on my paper where I read out all the math, I had Peking and Hanoi as like guaranteed center, so I was gonna get
yeah,
back.
it
Like
was
I
it
did
was
not. I had no
very
doubt.
I was like fucked up the entire day, like just like being like, do I do it?
Yeah, I had
Um,
no clue, man. That would have
yeah,
shocked me so much if you defended that, and especially
yeah,
if that's what blocked it. I would have been like, no
yeah.
way. Like that was just
I
not on my radar at all that you were suspecting I was gonna stab
yeah.
you.
I think you were very lucky that Aqua like goes to bed like a lot before the turn
Yeah.
because think yeah, I basically had to turn down the stab like way before the phase ended. So I couldn't like get like deadline jitters
Yeah.
because like the counter stab wouldn't have been there because he was moving to Bamo. I think I had to turn down the stab 5 hours before deadline or
Hmm.
a few at least, yeah.
And also on top of that, Aqua's kind of built up a pattern this game of getting people paranoid about each other, leaking stuff that's only half true,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Because you mentioned being paranoid about stuff of it in Portugal,
Mhm.
and their intentions.
Yeah. And Sophovids, I mean, like Sophovids probably could have actually gotten me to like stab you, but they were basically like, yeah, I want you to do the counter stab on Toku, but also like I know you've been very tight. It's a big decision for you. Like I honestly like we've been talking enough and we've been playing this game enough that like I'm fine if Toku solo's here. Like if you don't want to have the emotional risk of this, like I'm not gonna push you hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, though, Originally I was looking at Koryax as like on my first sheet I wrote, I had that as like a certain one because I was just confident they were not going to do it. But once I knew they were suspicious, I was like, okay, I'm probably like, if they are this suspicious, like they're probably gonna like bounce Galapagos or something. So I'm probably not gonna go for that. I think I'm gonna support MPO into Koryax just in case Athapaska covers it. And I was like, maybe Ute supports him back in too. So like, I'm not doing anything with Kuroshio, and if like they attack Ito, then that means I get Koryax for sure. So like, let's go. Let's take the gamble. I'll use Kuroshio to cut one of Ute's units. And I was like, I like to do this is silly, but I go back on all the previous not all of them, but for the last like 5 years, when I'm looking at Ute's movements in NPO and like how he likes to use his fleets. I can't remember which way it is, but he always does the same way where he like convoys with the first one and supports with the second, moves the first one, supports with the second. So I was like, okay, I'm very confident he's going to support with NPO 5 because this is just his pattern he's done every single time. Like he'll move with the first one, support with the second. So I take the gamble and I'm like, I think I can get the cut. I think I can like do the read here. I'm going to cut NPO 5. I'm going to get into Koryax and that'll be it. I am still worried going in like the last day. And Ageron, he has sent me his moveset again. Late this time, I think on the last day, because again, he's kind of checked out of this game too. He's just like, I want to kill Portugal. Like, I'm not gonna win. He was already kind of checked out before, but he sent me the moves, and his moves were like, I can't remember. It was not supporting Sumatra. It was like supporting Sumatra up to Andaman or something. He was leaving Batavia open, moving this out, and like going something there. And I was like, yeah, that works for me because my plan is to use. I think originally I was gonna support Java C, or no, or the other way around. I might have been worried about a cut here, so I think I was gonna go Inno into Sumatra, Timor into Batavia. I was gonna support. I didn't want to leak this to Azeron because I didn't want anything to happen. But I was gonna support this into Warwick, and then the other two were gonna go into Chilo. But I was like, man, like, what if I go to Azeron? Ageron is sitting at 21. He has Portugal about to stab him here. He has me about to stab him here. He has gotten betrayed by his only ally. I was like, what if I pitch to him two different angles? I go to him and I say, what is your goal for the rest of this game here? Like, obviously, you're not going to win, but if you care about being high on the scoreboards, I think ending this. I didn't say this all at once. I just asked him, like, what's your goal in the game? And I had two pitches depending on what he answered to me. He did answer to me that his goal in the game is just to see Portugal lose. So I said, if you want to see Portugal lose, he's at 71 right now. We have all these blockers. The only possible way Portugal can lose this game is if I solo this turn, and you can help me solo this turn. But also, if you do help me solo this turn, I think this is the best result you are going to get this game because you're getting stabbed by Portugal here, which is going to knock you down. You're gonna I didn't tell him I'm gonna stab him, but it's like you're just losing overall. Like the longer this game goes, the more you're gonna drop down these rankings, and this is just like the best spot you're gonna end, even if you end it here. And he goes, yeah, I want to kill Portugal, I'll throw to you. So I was like, okay, sweet, let's do a moveset that's a little different. Let's get you to support me into Seychelles. Let's get you to support yourself into Ceylon, because I want to knock Portugal down too. This isn't just about me getting up, but I know I need to knock Portugal down as much as possible. So we get him to cover Reunion, I think, with one, support himself into one of these Somalia taps or something like that. But the main thing that it changes for me is instead of going for Batavia with Timor C, I can go for Gulu, I think, with Timor C, and then that frees up Coral to go for work with support. So that gives me +1 there. And then instead of going for Sumatra, I tell him to leave Sumatra and let me just, or I can support, he supports me into Sumatra while I go into Batavia. So in the end, this throw ends up getting me Seychelles and Gulu extra than I would have got. And this makes me very comfortable because I like on all my calculations, I figured 49 beats almost anything Portugal is realistically going to get. if I can get anything above like 50-51 is pretty much a guaranteed win. And I feel like I have shots at Yarkand, I have shots at Koryax, I have a shot at Cape Co. And I think that was it, because one of them was a shot, but I turned it into a guarantee by like Portugal support or Azeron supporting me. So I was very comfortable after he told me he's gonna throw. I believed him that he was gonna do it, and yeah, I go for it. Should we go to the moves?
Sure.
All right. So, should I just start again, or do you want to go Meep?
You can start.
Yeah. Okay. So, get into. Let's do the obvious stuff. Get into my obvious dots here. +3. I do stab Ming, and he does not defend, so that gets me my dot back that I was gonna lose. Get support held here. Safavid does not do it, so get the ring Pungpa dot. I thought the gamble I went for here does not go through. They do not attack me and Edo, so that holds. And I go for the cut, but Ute does it the opposite way. And I was like, oh my god, I misread. Like, I thought I had such a good read on him. And he does it the opposite way, the one time that I go for it. So good on him. I do cover...
In fairness, it does, if you consider Atha and Ute fleets to be the same, it is the second fleet doing this.
That's true. Yeah, but otherwise, I got it wrong. Atha did try to snipe me for Bratsk. He actually guessed a lot of my moves right. And after the game, he sent me like his notepad of like what he predicted I would do, and he had so many of my moves right. He had like the Ikkari going to Briatia to defend. He had like Lanzo going to Fokian Strait to defend against Macau. He had obviously all the stabs. He even mentioned that like I was gonna like play it cool on Yarkand, but eventually ask him to attack Turkestan at some point in the phase. He knew I was gonna go for like he had a very, very good read on like almost every move I was gonna do, except for like the Azeron stuff down here. Totally threw him for a loop. But yeah, like I was very impressed on that. Anyway, I don't get into Koryax there. I do get into Gulu. Azeron throws me the support into Wuruk. He throws me the supports into Seychelles, gives me the support in Sumatra. I walk into Batavia. I fail to get into Cape Co, but I do get into Chilo. They cut the wrong fleet. He even they messed up here, because he even mentioned that like I am gonna ask you guys to not do the fleet. Like I'm gonna tell them that I'm going to the spot where I'm going to support from. So they have to tap the spot that I say I'm going to, but they tapped it wrong. But they even read that, like, my setup on the Chilo attack there, right? Well, at least Athapaska did. But yeah, so that, I guess we'll go to the score after, but this actually gets me to 49, I think. Or it was 47 was originally what I was going to be at. And 49 was like a guarantee. It was plus 10 was like almost certain I was going to win, and then anything plus 11, plus 12 more. But we'll go to Ming here first, and then we'll go to
So how many dots did you end up winning by?
I was over the line by 2, so I would have been able to win without the throw here by just on the mark, like 35% exactly. I would have been 10 dots exactly above Athapaska. The 2 throw, I could have won without the throw, but the 2 throw made it pretty much certain, because they had like a few other guesses here or something. Like if they were to cut me here, then they would have actually prevented the solo, but with the throw, the cut still wouldn't have
Yeah,
it just locked it in, but I would have got it anyway with this exact moveset.
Yeah. And then up here, I mean, I don't think these moves matter too much on Mughals. What's really important is what would have happened if I did take that counter stab. I bounce Peking. Again, Chengdu going to Peking. We bounce out -1. Does it go up? Yeah. I move.
Because I would have got one less here, one less here,
one less there,
and then one less
I get
there.
Macau.
Yeah.
And the solo is stopped.
Yeah, even with the throw, the solo is stopped.
Even with the throw, I was, and like, I mean, like, it's, yeah, looking back, if I had actually done Hu Guang, yeah, probably would have done Hu Guang to here and just tap Macau on its own from Guzhong. But yeah, from Guangxi. But yeah, so like this was definitely, I mean, like I'm at the end of the day, you soloed. I'm happy with you soloing. As I said in our private chat, like the fact that this game ended with the one person that allied me and stuck with me through all the downs, soloing, and every other of my neighbors like completely annihilated. Not the worst way to end a game,
Yeah, and you
but
also got into the top half
I
scoreboard.
did. I got top. Me and Mughals tied for 12 and 13. Which also like tying with the person I've been death warring for the whole game. Like it's just very nice. Like I would have loved to beat him, but tying was honestly probably better for both of us. Um, but I will say that if I had blocked this stab, it would have been so beautiful, and Luxon would have called me a hero in my chat with so much enthusiasm that it would have been worth it.
I would I would have absolutely. There was a part of me that wanted to, but I would have hated going through the next turn on it. Like I had a big strategy on what I was gonna do if this failed, but I was like, oh, this ocean fight between Ute and Atha and me is
I
just gonna
mean,
be a
yeah,
tactical fucking nightmare.
I was honestly like, if I had, I probably would have tried to sue for peace with you. Like, I don't know how successful that would have
Right,
been,
I
but
was
I
gonna
would have.
say the next thing happens is you die horribly, right? You stop the
Yeah,
solo and then you just
yeah, I
Toku
die
kills you.
horribly. Like that's the issue. But I do probably try and be like, listen, Canadian, you've got the ocean fight going on.
I think I
Um,
would have gone defense. What I thought was I was going to be in a spot where I was going to get absolutely pushed back immediately after, and I was just going to have to go like defensive mode and be like, all right, everyone else catch up. I am not, like, you cannot knock me down enough to get me out of this impunity. I'm going to chill. Everyone else get to 100% and we'll all win. That
yeah,
was going to be the strategy. But I was going to run to every little like I was going to run to Mughals and be like, yo, you want to be my vassal? I was going to go back to you and be like, sorry, dude, like, how can you
yeah,
blame me? I'm going for the solo here. It's all
yeah,
open.
yeah.
I was going
I'd
to run to
probably,
Mapuche immediately and be like, even though he's dead, I was going to be like, yo, let's work against Ute. You wanted to be my vassal a while ago. Ute screwed you. Let's do it. I was going to run to Sweden and be like, they were screwing you. Like, I was just going to go to every single person I did not stab and be like,
yeah,
let's work. I was going to go to south of it and be like, yo, I supported
Christ,
you in. Like, let's keep.
Christ. I am really curious. Like, I'm honestly probably happy we didn't have to play out that war, but I am really curious if I would have been able to get you on side again. Like, cause
I
I
would have been happy because I know Athapaska and you would be coming hard at me. I would
yeah,
obviously try to like make things up with them too, but I would just try to be friends with anyone who wanted to be friends at that point because I feel like I
yeah,
just like screwed the entire everyone I could. I
yeah,
it's funny. I went in this game and like at a midpoint throughout the game, I was like, oh, I screwed everyone in ICI. Like, I don't want to have a reputation where I just like stab every one of my neighbors. And
mhm,
throughout the entire game, I was actually being like very loyal. Like, if the game would have, I think Tasnica even said this, like, if the game would have ended last year, I would have been such a good ally. I would have gave dots away. I would have not lied to my allies once. I would have kept my vassal alive and made him grow. But it goes one more year, and I end up stabbing literally every person I can. So
yeah.
it's
But
like,
I mean, at the end of the day, the most respectful stab is winning off of it. Like, at
yeah.
the end of the day, you just can't be mad at a stab that wins.
Yeah,
Like it goes back to all the stabs, like the awful, seemingly in completely dumb stabs that Luxon made against you, Taz. I mean, they worked. And what can you really blame off that at the end of the day?
yeah. Mapuche
Yeah,
told me the
fair.
same thing after the game. He was like, I was pissed that you like kind of came for me, but you obviously had the winning strategy. And he was like more pissed at Ute and stuff because he killed him and ruined his game, but still lost and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, what else was uh anything else you want to say or
No, just wish I'd counter stabbed.
yeah, Tasnica, how'd things go over here?
Yeah, so in the much more exciting part of the world that had nothing to do. Well, I guess it had a tiny bit to do with the solo. Um, so Austria does not follow through on his deal with Sweden. Sweden does not get stabbed, so Austria ends up behind him on the scoreboard. Although Sweden is not high enough to block anyway. So it ends up not mattering. Much more interesting, though, is the fact that Austria does stab Safavid and push into him, and also tells Spain that he's taking Smyrna while not actually taking Smyrna. So I end up keeping it. I end up with no units in Europe, but still having Smyrna. So Poland's European colony survives.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's not European at that point, but
Sorry, Poland's Asian colony survives. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, I mostly just support hold everything while taking Jamaica. I do start a core on Cartagena because I figure it could be useful if the game continues. But yeah, it's mostly just keeping what I have. I end with 12 Caribbean centers, which I do believe some Polish Caribbeans have gotten bigger than that, but not many. So I'm pretty happy with my Polish Caribbean overall.
and not many that had like this kind of performance in Europe and Africa. I think this is the best, only like last surviving Polish colony for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's a very solid position. Like if this game continues, and Oot continues being cooperative against Portugal, it's a really nice colony in a decent position.
All right. One thing I did want to mention too, I was actually totally wrong on who the blocker would be. Like I was only really looking at Portugal, but they did Portugal and Athabasca like are talking to each other throughout. And I think Portugal, from my understanding, offers Athabasca that he should actually be the one to block the solo because Portugal doesn't believe like he can. It's obviously because he has a higher VSCC, it takes him more dots to grow in percentage. And he's having kind of a bad year in Europe, even though he's having like a good year elsewhere. He thinks Athabasca would be a better contender if they like throw Athabasca a bunch of dots. So they end up giving him stuff. I can't remember exactly what. Like Ute gives him one here. They let Athabasca walk into Portugal there. Ute takes that one. I can't remember, but there was a few things like that where they actually went to Athabasca, and he ended up being the one who was second place to me.
If only Portugal had done that the previous year, he would have won the game.
Yeah, it's true. I'll pull up the. Yeah, so there's the final scoreboard. We have Ming in the top half. Yay, you're even above Moogles on that.
Yeah. I was growing and he was shrinking, so it makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I placed 10th, which was a nice consolation prize for me. Not only did I get the solid Polish Caribbean, but my worst performing Imptip game that I've ever played has been 11th place as Congo. So I managed to just barely
You did a little bit better.
This was not my worst game.
I mean, you didn't play it like your worst game, so not surprising.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that. The Pumpkin Cup.
This was 4 months of our life. Or was it 3? 3 months?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not very
a
long.
lot of effort.
We all talk to each other probably more than some of our friends and family.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Dude,
Oh,
it's
definitely.
bad. I put in too much effort into these games.
Sometimes, yeah, these past few months I've wondered, what if I didn't play this game? Maybe I'd have other things going on in my life that were more worthwhile. But yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
Take a vacation from time to time. Have a break.
Yeah.
Find the diplomacy life balance.
I think Optimate Cup is probably going to be my last diplomacy game for a while because I got accepted into grad school and I'm going in fall.
Oh, nice.
So,
Congratulations.
Awesome.
I will not have. I'm going to be doing a master's then. I don't think I'll have time to do whatever cup happens after that. Yeah.
All right. Do you guys have any like final thoughts on the game or?
Um, I guess throughout all my diplomacy adventures, the only thing that's really hurt me that bad was Chichiar. That's the only thing that's ever hurt me truly in my core.
You
Yeah.
weren't that upset.
Yeah.
It was a challenging game with lots of trickiness and drama, but ultimately it was fun, and I'm pretty happy with what I managed to pull off given the circumstances.
Same here.
Yeah, like this was beyond what I was expecting in this game. This is the best diplomacy game I've ever played, like easily. I don't feel like I felt like I was gonna win since like year one. Like I was just very confident. Like everything was very going my way very early on, and like any threat that I felt was happening, like I was able to redirect it somewhere else like very quick. And I just had like a ridiculously easy. I never thought I would be able to get past Ikari, and having like this kind of crazy inland Asian game was just like not something I expected at all. Having like I don't even know how many vassals I had throughout the game. Like you, Russia, Dutch at multiple points. I could have got Mapuche. Just like tons of people. Everyone was working with me. Everyone wanted to see me win. Every time I was like talking to people, but I don't know what the hell I did, but I just played this game like as almost as good as I could, other than some like tactical, quite like a handful of tactical mistakes. But even then, like not too terrible. Like, it was a good tactical game overall, still, even with all the mistakes. But it could have been
Yeah.
better on that end.
Yeah, and if everyone wants you to win, the tactics only matter so much.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Unfortunate to Athapaska and Ute. I honestly, if the game would have ended a year earlier, I wouldn't have been much happier getting the solo than just like winning with them, because I would have been fine for me to win with like both my friends. Doing this and like it makes me feel kind of greasy to like stab everyone and like steal the win from them. You even mentioned I can't remember. He said he was like going to a dinner to celebrate his boyfriend's like something like that. And I was like, oh, I feel so greasy. Like you're gonna have this nice dinner, and then you're gonna come back, and it's gonna like you're gonna see that I stabbed you in the back. Like, ugh. Like I don't know. I just didn't like that at all. So it almost would have been nicer to. And I feel like I played the same game regardless. Like if the game ends a year earlier, did I really play a crazier, much better game just to go for like the solo this year than I would have if I won last year with 3 other people? Like, is a solo really worth too much more than a like a dominant win with a couple other people?
Well,
Yeah.
Atha and Ute did play an incredible game.
Yeah,
Uh,
both of them did, and Portugal too. Very good game.
yes. There was a lot of skill on the board, especially among the top players. And I was especially kind of sad to see Atha not win. Um, but, you had the opportunity and it made sense to go for it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the
Yeah.
Pumpkin Cup.
Yeah.
Any last words?
No, I don't think so. Other than absolutely fantastic game from you, Canadian. Like just incredible to watch. And like I mean I played it obviously, but like seeing it, talking about it's been awesome. Yeah,
Thanks.
Yeah,
just
GG.
really impressive.
Yeah, I put so much effort into it. I was glad I got a good result here.
You deserve that win.
Yeah,
You deserve the solo.
thank you. All right. Well, that's it. If you watch this whole thing, you're pretty crazy, but yeah. See ya.
Yeah. See you, Alice.
Take care.
Bye.